You want to know about the Gambia entertainment industry. You want to know the existing policies and programs of the arts and culture sector. You want to know about the governance and management of the arts associations. The program will throw a fresh light on the entertainment industry in focus. We will touch so many angles about the cultural sector, the opportunities and challenges, and interrogate them, and most importantly, offer solutions.
Ngali yende o kwa nyulle nata ka musicolu kidimandi nyulle nata ka artisolu kidimandi nyulle nata ka jado ganyandi nyulle nata o ka jololu fanam fintindi Facebook oto YouTube Facebook oto ko YouTube Gambia Talent Muna promotion lem Gambia Talent Muna promotion ngonde jaworode baribunga wate buna nge jubele wate buna nge la moile wate buna nge la kuomira Gambia Talent boy ngoe dulle nata oy kantol kidimandi kantol sewondi kantol nganyandi Gambia Talent buna Gam Talent boy ewali Pausman Diouf inimbala
Taka kodo mutaka bonang UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland ani nyimbanku to malmu meto. Supersonics le itadulate. Anada di masanji jama Gambia bankoka ise kodo tano le ibe dawo da birin katon fokoina andung batatije ise kodo tano le ka bonam bantala bankol to birin UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland ani nyimbanku to malmu beto na doku sone yata atariyata akoita andung allanna yata Gambia bankokan Supersonics le dinkiral siyata katambinyin to malmu meti Supersonics be banku tan sabani nani le to fata findu bankolto dung ila Google Play Store to wala ila Apple app sign ye Supersonics la money transfer app o download porque ifa munafang na service ola.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the showbiz in focus. I am your presenter, Kalilu Banja, and tonight we have the greatest percussionist player out of the Gambia, based in the UK, and he is no one but Musambu. He's my uncle, because my mom is Mbu as well. So we will also be having the Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture, Sek Omar Jallo. He is also on his way, and he will be joining us right tonight on this program. Mr. Mbu, welcome to the program. Nangadef.
Why, Kalilu, thank you so much, and thanks for the invitation as well. Very good.
Okay, Uncle. Jerejef, thank you so much. How is it in the UK? What is going on in the COVID situation? Artists in America, that is the first thing we have to ask them. How do you do music with COVID?
Well, we are trying to cope with all the restrictions so far, and as you know, we have to obey and allow things to flow as it is now. It's difficult everywhere. We are all experiencing the task and the challenges around here. But luckily for us, we managed to find a way to be able to communicate with our fans, like digital performance and everything online. we are able to have that access as well. Thank God. Thank God.
Oh, so already you are on a virtual concert. So there is a virtual concert that you are doing to be able to reach out to your fans.
Yes, exactly. We have. I've been nominated by the Arts Council and through my friend who is a promoter the guy I think when we last spoke, you and I managed to rough or quick introduction with him over there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening now is we've been given some funding to try and do some performance online, and not only us, but I'm part of the team organizing it as well. And my band did the opening of that online stream live performance, which was good. I mean, and it's going on. It's still going on. So still we are rehearsing. We have time to rehearse. We have time to perform. But hey, we're missing the fans over there, the floor.
In the floor. Yeah, because I had you talking. I was watching your video, and I had you like doing a kind of a theater kind of spiel. We call it in Germany. We said theater spiel. That means you are like acting a kind of a drama, saying, "Oh, fans, are you enjoying the show?" When there is no fans.
Yes, we have to put it in our system, and
Mhm.
as a performer. And I think one of the most interesting thing and challenging thing is when you are on stage and not seeing the fans around you. How can you manage to still maintain the performance spirit, inspiration, not to lose that? Because if you lose that inspiration, that you are missing the audience, that means it will reflect in the music. So you have to act like, yeah, you are seeing them and it's in you, it's coming from you, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. I think I will totally agree with you on that part. Um,
Yeah.
Mr. Mbub, I think the director is in now. Sek Omar Diallo, if you are getting us, you can put your camera on, and at the same time, um, your um, your audio too. We want to get your audio too. Yeah. So, Mr. Mbuk, we also have the director, Sekoma Jalo. He is the director for performing fine arts and literature of the National Center for Arts and Culture in the Gambia.
Yeah, it's good to see
Suma
you.
boss, why
Good to see you.
sonal buba haba haba. Mr. Omar, welcome to the show. A lot of people are, I think they are watching for the fact that they want to hear the important messages coming from the center. And it is important that we have a professional from the Gambia who is currently based in the UK, Mozambique, of all time. He is also here with us. So I am very much happy to have both of you on tonight's program. Welcome to the show, Mr. Director.
Thank you very much, Carl. And I say my brother, Musambuk. We grew up on his legs. So whatever I was doing in the theater art, it was because I was a compatriot to his younger brother, Ismail Mbub and Njaga Mbub and all that. So we all grew up in Dibakunda. So I know him very well. There is no need for introduction between me and him. He knows me very well. And as a director also, we have interacted so much. I think I have facilitated so much for him too as well. So I'm glad to be in this show, especially with him. Jërëjëf bro. Koto noo def.
Wa jaay fu waay jaay sant yàlla nuyu naa la bu baax a baax.
Wow, jërëjëf.
It's good to see you. Good to see you on board.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Momonega boss the Dukonango, why he is the director of the National Center for Arts and Culture. And subsequently in the program, there will be one important part that I want to share, because the people I bring in here I want us to network and build that partnership among ourselves as stakeholders of the creative sector of the Gambia. You are an artist, and he is an arts administrator. And at the same time, he is also an actor as well, because he was in the acting field. I was writing that, I think 3 days ago, we were having some kind of dialogue. I was saying he's also a stakeholder, like an industry player, because in the music fraternity, we have different stakeholders, ranging from managers, promoters, arts administrators, accountants, lawyers, even bodyguards. Sometimes I used to say, when you are organizing a concert, you need a bodyguard to be able to protect the artist, and at the same time, um, other stakeholders too. So it's important to get everyone so that we can hear the views of the people. So we are happy once again to have you guys. Mr. Mbuk, tell us something about your career. How do you started in the Gambia? I have read your biography, and it is extensively rich. So if I want to go through all of it, maybe we will spend about 15 minutes to talk about that. But you can simplify that to us.
Well, I think first of all, I will start. Um, Everything started from the Gambia back home, and my dad, known as Dudumbu, was a master percussionist, and this is something I inherited from my father, and my mom's father also from Moret, Syrian tribe. He was also a drummer, and my mom's side also they sing. As you know, the Syrian tribe, they have the sweetest voice on earth, I can say. And in the Gambia, I was leading my percussion team called Mbub Mbalahal, and we were very popular in the Gambia doing naming ceremonies, baptism, and all this performance. And also sometimes we perform in the hotels. I remember there was a place called Bendula near BB Hotel, and we used to perform there every Sunday, and it was a very nice atmosphere every Sunday when we are there. Before we reach, because sometimes we have these naming ceremonies when we perform, when we finish, we then have to run quickly to that place every Sunday. And by the time, anytime we reach there, the place is always packed because people were very interested in what we are doing, because those days, my dad, before he passed away, he knew that I will take his place to become a master drummer. And also, I mean, we were doing a lot of different types of performing around the Gambia, and I was also very lucky. I always, underline that I was very lucky that I can, I was picked by the elders, the musicians, the big talented musicians in the Gambia, whom I was working with as well in the music field, which is totally different from the field my father trained me as well. From what I inherit from my father is just percussion. But working with different bands, different band leaders in the Gambia, also I think it strengthened my understanding and also paved my way through to be able to be where I am in the music industry, and this is always something I want to elaborate and make it more clearly. Gambia, Musa Mbuk was a master drummer, master percussionist in the Gambia, and well known as a master percussionist. Um, but Musa Mbuk today is an arranger, composer, and writer, and I have my own band touring around UK and supported by other talented musicians around the world, if I can put it that way.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mboop. Like you said, our interest is, with regards to looking into what people are doing in the cultural sector. And like you said, you started in the Gambia and later you resided in the UK. You form a band, you are a composer and a songwriter, and at the same time a singer. So and you have a group. We will look into your video later on in the program, but it's important that also we hear from the director. Mr. Sekoma Diallo, the past 3 months, there were a lot of activities going on in the creative sector of the Gambia, and majorly there were community festivals. But again, we learned to the fact that there is a lot of plan in the year 2021, because since 2021, we did not have an interview with you. So we think there is a lot of activities that are initiated by the center, and we want the artists to be able to know some of these great activities that you have in plan for them.
Okay, thank you very much, Kalilu. As you may have already known, and we've been talking about that in the last part of 2020, was about we had a long silence of when the pandemic hit the country around in March, and there was complete silence. Either in showcasing or in any public gathering of that nature until in November, when government decided to dish out what we call the fund. And in that reality, it wasn't very much enough, because the number of artists that we have in the country and the strategy that government wanted to use could not have availed the fund for all the artists. So there was a categorization that we had to do, and that was we had to target the registered artists. And out of that registered artists, there was a period that we had to look at, especially that was the ones that were active. And of course, we did distribution to posthumous artists, like the ones who have passed away. We have also distributed their families. We have also distributed to the Kenyans, the griots, because the artistic field is so diverse. You have the fine artists, the types of Njogu Toures and all that. So it extends extensively, and we had to do that. It was a rigorous activity that I had to engage myself in the month of November to December. And once that passed, the second activity that I had to engage was about the artistic associations to go to Congress. Like we all know, most of the artistic associations were moribund, and they had this challenge of renewing their mandate or going down to Congress. There was a series of activities that we had to engage all the artistic associations to be able to go to Congress. And as you may know, at the moment we have 11 artistic associations that exist in the country. 11. And out of the 11 artistic associations, thanks to Allah, we were able to take all of them to Congress, and they are able to legalize their status, except the Gambia Music Union, which we still have an issue we are trying to deal with. And apart from that, we had to come to the immediately around December. I had to close that page and start in January. The festivals of the Gambia. The festivals of the Gambia also took place. We were able to have all the festivals that are in the national calendar of events and national calendar of festivals. We were able to roll all of the festivals except two, which is the Dembadu Cultural Carnival, which by virtue of this COVID-19 closed lockdown, it might not take place. And today also was supposed to be the Dental Fulbe Cultural Festival in Bunyadu. That also we had to put off, we had to postpone. So that was actually the festivals of the Gambia that we had, I was working on throughout. And now, alongside with that also, we were also working with our international partners on projects as well.
Okay.
that we just recently concluded was with the International Trade Center through EU support program. Because in the absence of not having a national theater or an art space in the country, we do not want to rely on artists continue using Alliance Franco-Gambian or other private institutions when there is a need to have at least a multicultural center for the Gambia. But unfortunately, the government cannot build the multicultural center right now, and we are still looking for the land, we are acquiring it, but we have to move on. We do not have to wait for government to make these things happen, or all these things cannot be on the shelves, waiting for government for this thing to happen. Because virtually there is no land available at this time to be able to construct this. The ideal places that they have right now is in the around Jammu, Jambal and which is just going to be like building castles in the air, because people will find it very reluctant to be able to use those facilities around those ends. So we are still looking at recovering certain lands around the greater Banjul area, which could be very locative. So in the meantime, we were able to engage PPP, which is public-private partnership. Public-private partnership to acquire a multicultural center. And that we had to go a rigorous, expression of interest calls, and we were able to shortlist until finally we are able to select one possible one, which is at the Galaxy Entertainment Park, just by the PDA, just by Senegambia Street at the football field. At the moment, I think it's already kind of on the contract right now to be able to renovate the place and build it into a multifaceted cultural center, which will be able to house all the artistic associations. Because we want to stop this idea of the artists having this handbag association. When they just talk from here and there, in the next minute you call them, I'm in Westfield. Well, I want to pay my membership fee. You can come down to Westfield. Then you meet the person at Westfield. He writes you a check. You give him the money, and he continues. The next minute you call somebody else again. He tells you, I'm at the stadium. You rush to the stadium. You find him there. He writes you the receipt. And so this is how the associations were functioning, and we want to discourage that because they had no location and they had no place to be at. So since now we have given them this time what we call some little seed money for them to start to be able to organize themselves properly so as to be able to entrench what is the work that they are required to do. So all the artistic associations, excepting one, all have received their seed money already, and some have already started even employing what we call an executive officer. Because most of the artistic associations, they did not work well because they were volunteers. And volunteerism, if I have to go fend for my family, fend for my food, when that musician is busy working in his studio or composing, and I'm busy in the administration of art, you know that very well.
Yeah.
That was very discouraging. So we said now, out of this money, we will encourage you to employ the services of an executive officer who will stay in office and be able to do the work on your behalf. So a lot of these artists, they have already, a lot of the artistic associations, they have already started employing an executive officer who have already started work to develop projects for them and to do, some fundraising and to do activities that they will be. And I'm supporting them. My office is directly supporting most of those executive officers who have just recently come in. So we are inducting them and training them how to develop projects and how to go around in seeking funding for them to be able to have money. And finally, the last one we have right now, which is just the past one, is we have also engaged through ITC and NACA, that is the National Accreditation Office Qualification and Accreditation Agency. We have just recently developed a curriculum for the various sectors of the art sector. Because Kalilu, you would believe that in the whole of this country, the only sector that does not have any tertiary institution training, anything is the culture and is the culture sector, is the creative industry sector.
Exactly.
There is no institution or tertiary sector here that is training people on drumming, that is training people on music, that is training people on even event management, that is training people on even filming. There is none, it's zero in the national agencies database. So now, because the reason was there was no curriculum. So we have hired the expertise of experts who were working with NACA, and now we have distributed just the first draft of the national accreditation draft curriculum for for film, music, event management, and for the other sectors as well. Currently, I have distributed most of that, the curriculum. It's with the various associations, the sector association, for them to distribute to experts, and we have also add-ons from experts who are very good in music education or in theater or in film, and we have sent them the draft that these experts have built around NACA. So we have this, and now I think I have started getting some of the responses from some of these experts who have started giving me their reactions, and we are still urging all the sectors, contact your associations and ask them, or if you want, you can contact, they can contact you so that they can have my email. We will be more than happy to send this curriculum to them. So once this curriculum are being finalized, then there will be, of course, privatization for taking institutions to start academies or training institutions for music, or people can have their own private schools for music, for film, for theater, for all the sectors. So far that's where we are, and that's the last point where I am right now. And there are more people, which I will just stop from what we have done so far for this time only. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Director. I think I want to talk to both of you to regulate your system, because we are hearing an echo. So it seems like someone's TV or something is interrupting in the emission of this great program. I don't know. I think it's Musa. Musa, is something playing in your house?
Not really. The TV was on, but it's muted. No sound is coming out of it.
Okay. Second one?
No. I only have. I don't have anything. There is nothing on in my house right now.
Okay.
There's something rattling.
That is directly from Facebook. I don't know, but now it looks like it's okay.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah. There's something cracking on.
Yeah, there's a kind of a crack. I don't understand. I don't know what is comparing this. Yeah. So anyway, Mr. Director, thank you so much. You were talking about the COVID-19 reimbursement fund, which you distributed among the artistic associations, and at the same time, artists who are in the Gambia. You were also talking about the artistic associations going to congresses, and you have 11 of them, and only one, which is the Music Union, that you did not recognize at the moment. We will talk about that later. And I like the fact that the National Calendar Festivals were ongoing, and we saw pictures all over on the media platforms, and celebrating the Gambian culture and heritage. That is also very, very, very important. The international partnership that you build with ITC to be able to have a national theater, like a center, close to the Alliance Francaise Gambia. We've been advocating for that for so many years, and we are happy that the ball is rolling and you are almost to the finishing line. So, so you told us that critically Galaxy Entertainment Park. So they are the one who won the bidding to be able to build the National Theatre Center. I know there were also some partners like the Jollof Arts Entertainment. They also did the bidding, and who else? Who else did the bidding?
Yeah, the bidding was done primarily about 8 sectors bidding. One, the Mediamatics applied in joint venture with STS and Blacklinks. They were shortlisted. YMCA also applied and they were shortlisted. And of course, the Gambia Music Institute also, which is new brand, we don't know them very well, but that they also applied, but they were also shortlisted. And the Sanhafe Film Institute in Basse also applied, and they were shortlisted. And the Global Hands Leicester in Mandua, or the Global Hands also, they also applied. They were also shortlisted. So it remained later on between Jollof Arts and Galaxy. In the end, Jollof Arts ended up tweeting their proposal and they made a joint venture with Jacarlo, because the venue that they had initially was at the FIB building. That's where Capital FM is. It was no way or ideal for a cultural center to be hosted at the FIB building. You know that very well.
Exactly.
So later on, they had to tweak a proposal and then they had to do a joint venture with Jacarlo. But unfortunately, the assessment that we had to even involve the artistic associations, their executives to come and do assessment. They were the ones that guided us. We gave them the scoring point for them to go into each of these facilities, and then they assess. So when they assess and check what are the facilities there and what are the possibilities of building these things, and the amount of fund that we are expecting, and what do we expect to get from each of these facilities, I think they scored a lot of marks for on behalf of Galaxy. So yet still the panel that sat between the YEP and ITC and NCAC, we were able to fragment and see those papers, and then also we went onto our own voting system that we had to also come to a conclusion at the panel. So using those figures that the artistic associations were able to give us feedback, we were able to come to a conclusion with the selecting board or the selecting management. We were able to come to conclusion that the ideal place for us to go on a PPP, public-private partnership, was with Galaxy.
Okay, wow, that is very important. So Galaxy Entertainment Park, so they are the ones who won the bidding, and you said the arts associations are also employing executive officers, which is also very important, and the incubation center with regards to a curriculum that is also developed for the cultural sector to be able to teach music, theater, dance, and any kind of arts in the Gambia at a tertiary level. We've been advocating for that also because since after independence, Gambia had not been able to teach these arts in our school curriculum. So are you having any kind of relationship with the Ministry of Education to be able to establish this curriculum in the Gambia, in the school systems?
Yeah, okay. Okay, first of all, you did mention about the association employing chief executive officers. Yes, there was even an advert, I think from 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks, a month plus, which the Film Producers Association did release applications for applications for the position of an executive officer. And I understand it was rigorously done, and they had applications that were being sent, and they have already shortlisted until they have got their final applicants. And the person, I think, have started work at the FPAC Secretariat as of the 1st of March. His employment kicks off by the 1st of March. And other associations, about 2 or 3 associations have also done similarly. They have already employed now their chief executive officers. And another application is on at the moment, is ongoing, which is also on their Facebook, on their page. They also call for their chief of application for chief executive officer, or somebody who is going to serve as secretary to the office to implement their things. So at the moment, what is going on, and we are kind of soliciting places where to host them. Like some of them, some people have sacrificed to host them in their office. Like Ibrahim Assisi for the Gambian Music Union, when you were the Secretary General under Kaido, or is it Cade or something like that?
On the Manfopa,
Well, yeah,
coming arts.
so it's similarly, other individuals have volunteered to house them for the moment, for those executive officers to have a space. You see, Carl, you guys were a little bit successful because you know why? Because you had a structure that anybody can go to Manfopa and then deal with the administration of music union.
Exactly.
Since then, it has not happened with any of the unions that came later on. It was all a car union or administrative office that was running. So that was a big challenge. But now, since that we are hoping that the creative center or the multicultural center will be creating offices for all the associations, then that will be a thing of the past. And we have already started grooming their chief executive officer for administration. So some of them are also coming to my office. They are using our
Facility.
yeah, they are using my secretary, my office. Some of these chief executives, they are using our conference rooms because we don't have enough offices. So they're using our facilities so as to be able to do their work. So that is ongoing. We are fine with that. Alhamdulillah, things are moving on those sectors because this is what was needed for the artistic associations to be able to set down and then go on.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Director. I don't want to cut you. So we will come back to you because there is a lot of talking points from your end. But we have a great percussionist player, and before we come to him, we want to see us something. It will take maybe like 1 minute or so to get that done. If so that we can know what Musa is doing in the UK. I hope we can get this. Musa yena ma dega.
Wa mangla dega fimne Kalilu to stop na how man.
Yeah, I think living in Nyowood, music in Nyowood. I don't know. Some guy. I think Gambia Talent TV. They are making like they are also airing another program at the same time. So that is having the echo, and we are having difficulty also at the same time to show a video. So I don't know why. Yeah, there's a kind of a breakdown going on. So it's not allowing us. So we had wanted to go to your concert to be able to give the viewers a little bit of an idea what you are doing in the UK. But yeah, so the system is not allowing us. But again, Musa, you heard about the director. You heard him said so many things with regards to the Gambia cultural sector. One important thing I want you to react on is having an art center in the Gambia where artists will be able to display and showcase their talent, and at the same time developing a curriculum for the cultural sector. What do you think about that?
Most of what you've said is not very clear. There's a kind of rattling. I can hear cracking on, so it's
So
not
I
very
don't know
clear.
whether. Yeah, let me try again. The director
I
was
find it
talking
difficult
about
to hear you clear.
the director was talking about establishing a national theater center in the Gambia where artists will be able to display and showcase their talent, and at the same time developing a
Yeah,
curriculum whereby the cultural sector will be able to institutionalize and people can be able to learn music, theater, dance, and other parts of the sector.
yeah, yeah. I think according to Sehu Omar, he mentioned a lot of different important points here, which I think is high time that these things are accommodated in the Gambia. As far as our music industry, we want to polish it properly and want to take it further and want to be the same level with the outside world. I think some of these institutions, Sehu Omar mentioned, are very important. And I think it's in a vital position as well as him being director to facilitate this kind of institution in the Gambia. And hopefully, it will do a very good or it will push the music industry in Gambia if these things are accommodated. Hopefully, it will happen. It needs to happen. We need it in the Gambia. We need it in the Gambia because there are so many talents now coming out from the Gambia, and if they have this kind of support and facilities, that will strengthen and more wider our knowledge in terms of in the music industry. So I really support the idea and wish that everything will go successfully as planned.
Okay, and then I would just love to ask again if there is any kind of partnership that you have with the National Center for Arts and Culture over the years. Have you ever worked with them back home in the Gambia?
Who myself? You mean myself?
Yeah, I mean yourself. Yeah.
Yes. So I think say one time I was in the Gambia, and I think say Omar can witness that. I went to I visited their office and we talked. We had a long discussion about other issues regarding or connecting to the music industry, and there was even a time say Omar himself want to choose me to lead a team to go to Egypt, if I can remember, which I was very willingly to support him and to do as well. And I also register myself as everyone, every artist in the Gambia. I have my card. So I was going to ask say, Omar, will I come and have my share? I think they were kind of sharing something, so
The
I didn't have
COVID
to
money,
register.
yeah,
So
the COVID money.
I have my membership card. So I don't know whether I'm entitled to ask for it. But anyway, yes, say Omar can witness that all the projects I've been doing in the Gambia, because I developed this kind of connection with England and the Gambia. I go with musicians to the Gambia. And every time I visited the Gambia, I must go and see National Arts and Culture. I must visit them. Because for me, I have this belief in that whatever we do regarding the cultural sector in the Gambia, they should be aware. And to be honest, they are supportive. They are well supported since those days. Modi Jufu was there, and now presently, is it Al and so on. I visited, the office many times, and I want to create that kind of connection with the office and what we are doing here as well. I mean, so it's just that we need more doors open, and we need more flexibility in terms of that correspondence we are doing among each other. And I think say Omar can tell you about that. I had a discussion with him in the office and all the things, and I even told say Omar that one time I remember my big brother, Mr. Kotongom, who was leading the Bati Askari, if I can remember. He was working with them closely in that office, but he passed away. But the legacy, we don't want to throw it behind the window. And that's why I said I was very lucky, because all the elders, the big drummers in the Gambia, the elders, they have a big trust in me that I can lead the department, because I know exactly, and I live outside the Gambia as well. We have international connection, and all these things need to be put in place. If the right access is offered to us, we have many things that we can do to work here and the Gambia as well. Yeah, I think that is a good
Okay.
point. We need that office definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the time the work of the NCSD is always in the loop. A lot of people are not very much au fait to what they do, and people normally don't visit their offices like you always do, to try to find out some of the things that they are doing, and this is the reason why we are getting the director here, so that the players in the cultural sector could be able to work in unison with the National Center for Arts and Culture. Because some of the things that they are requesting from the government of the Gambia, so we should also be able to complement them. We should stand by them to be able to request for some of these things that we think are very important for the cultural sector. So, Mr. Sekomar, Musa is saying that his money, his COVID money, why you did not give? He is a yeah, he's a registered artist under your center. Why he did not got the COVID money? What is the problem?
Yeah, Musa is right. In
Uh-huh.
fact, forget about my personal relationship with him as a young brother under him, but I know he respected my office very well.
Okay.
I can doubt that whenever he comes to the Gambia,
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, I know he will knock at my office to say how are you doing and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Either he will renew his card or he will see the possibilities of what can we do to make something.
Okay.
About in 2016, he is right, we had programmed to do an international tour together,
Mm-hmm.
which I invited him to be able to accompany to do a big promotion under tourism, which we were working on. And
Mm-hmm.
that all together with the elections of 2016 for Yaya Jammeh, and then all the other things before the elections they're all stagnated. So we failed that, we missed that opportunity. But every time that he comes to the Gambia, I will tell you honestly, he will come to the country to my office, and he has always respected my office and given me the due that we deserve. So, yes, he deserves to be paid in the COVID. But unfortunately, what we did with the COVID, as I told you, the money that was given for the COVID, it was not much.
Okay.
It was just a token.
Yeah, but it's 3 million Gambian dollars.
3 million Gambian dollars when you have over how many thousand musicians and griots.
Yes.
So what we did was, Carl, the only the Artistic Association, they took almost 1.3 million or 1.5 million, close to that.
Okay.
Count $200,000 or $250,000 for 11 artists. For 11 artistic associations, how much is that? Or for 10 artist associations, how much is that? That almost eats all the money. So looking at that, you are not talking about the griots families, the main griots families from Banjul to Koina.
Okay.
The Jobates and all that, from Banjul to Koina. The Kenyalem Musos, my mothers, the Kenyalems in every region, to meet them and then give them a token. And not to talk about the sculptors, those who are doing sculpture, those who are doing fine art, not to talk about the drummers, the family of Angom, the family of Musa Angom, the family of Ephraim Bay. All these people benefited. So it was so much. So what we did was, we only targeted the most vulnerable artists, families, and artistic groups and individuals. So people like Koto Musambu, who will always come to my office and then say, "Share essence." Those are not the people that we definitely think they deserve that money. People like ST, who will come and then say to me, "SOJ, thank you for a job well done. I'm generally essence." We don't think ST deserves that money. People like Alaji Manka, who, despite they are all registered, and then they have made so much money, who will come there and say, SOJ, you can listen essence, and generally essence. Those are not people who definitely needed that money, because the money wasn't much. 10,000, 6,000, you know, that was not something that Musa Mbu definitely need, because he will give me 10,000 for fuel money. Why would I give him 10,000 for that? So
no, why? No. Why? What I want to do, Sir Omar, I am going to advocate for Musambu and other people like Musambu who are not recently in the Gambia, but they need to be celebrated by your National Center for Arts and Culture. And wait. The only way I'm going to do that, I'm just going to read some parts of his biography for you to know how healthy is to have someone like Musambuk in the Gambia. And then from there, I will put my case. So you wait for the question. In 1988, Musambuk toured the Gambia and Senegal with Gelawar and Jom Music Band and played at the Gambia Cultural Festival, where he was awarded a certificate of recognition as the #1 percussionist in the Gambia. In 1990, Musa joined Ifam Bondi and toured throughout Europe. Following this, he was invited to England, UK, by DB Music to record an album, Book Mbalahal, and then toured various education establishments funded by Blakely Education Arts Center, Red Hill. Next, he recorded a Gombe dance band album titled Binkira, funded by Sokoto Project through Higher Octave USA. In 1992, he was invited back to UK to work with dancer Galas Fai performing at various venues and was contracted by Gambian Society in UK to appear at the first Gambian Cultural Festival. In 1995, he performed several concerts with other African artists as part of a collaboration with Tom Andrews, Music for Change charity, Canterbury. Next, Musa recorded his second album. What is the name of the album? It's so funny here, the way I'm seeing it. Jacket, yeah, Jacket, Jogulen.
Yes.
Jogulen, yeah. Get the test with Victor Mensa. I think Victor Mensa is a Ghanaian of African Dawn, which was later promoted by Griot Ward. Launched to critical acclaim at the African Centre, Covent Garden, London. After this, Musa started his collaboration with Roger Watson, Traditional Arts Project TAP, as part of Boca Halal, where he is still a key member of the group. While working with TAP, Musa had performed a variety of tasks, including workshops and a project entitled Your Village, My Village. I think this is inspired because of his Gambianism, involving schools in the UK, and the Gambia collaborating with Billy Bragg. In 2003, Musa took 2 musicians to the Gambia, which you were talking about, Mr. Sekomar Jallo, as part of a Southeast Arts Council funded project called Joka Ada, like connecting cultures, cultural collaboration, where they work with a variety of different musicians throughout the Gambia and recorded many songs while there. In 2006, Musa joined the group Ubizo with Alan Kipmore and had played on their latest album and toured throughout Europe with them. In 2017, Musa set up the Ham Exchanging Knowledge project funded by the Southeast Arts Council. For this project, Musa took 8 musicians to the Gambia to work with 4 different Gambian tribes. Now, while in the Gambia, they recorded an album, and upon returning to the UK, they set up a new West African influenced band called Ham with Usman B.I. Ifram Bundi. In 2011, Musa performed with the African Express Group. In 2012, Musa led the African Drumming, Singing and Dance workshop at St. Christopher's School, Bahrain. In 2013, Musa was also invited in Oslo to lead a drumming group during the Gambian Cultural Week in Norway, which is held every year. In 2014, Musa was invited to play background music for networking meeting at African Oil Summit, Africa Healthcare Summit, and Africa Defense and Counterterrorism Summit in the UK. Created a collection of percussion loops, Mozambique presets, tribal drum volume 1 and 2, Rhythms of the World Festival. I just want to stop there. Mr. Director, in our quest to be able to have cultural ambassadors, what do you say to the fact of the brilliant profile that we are reading about Mr. Mbu?
Thank you, Carl. As I was just telling you when we were about to read, I said maybe it will be good for public consumption. But most Musa's CV is with me up to 2005. Musa's achievement, we have been following trend, and as I said, we are so close that I know most of the things that he will be updating us up to 2015 rather. So this profile you are reading is actually in our database because, like you know, we follow most of these good artists in our artist directory, and then we follow their profile. So he has not updated his profile from 2015 or 2016. Since that incident, still he has not updated. So we don't know what, apart from me following through Jibungam because he is also a brother to him and is a good close friend of mine, Jibungam. So I follow most of his activities through Jibungam. So, but officially, up to 2015, we have all his affiliates, and we have been following very keenly, and even during the time of Kotongop as well. So, in terms of looking at these people to decorate them, yes, Carl, it has been in the pipeline since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing was
Mm-hmm.
it's actually the funding to be able to do it, but we have in our program something we call Excellence in the Arts Award.
Mm-hmm.
Those who have done extremely well in the various sectors of the creative industry, they need to be decorated, or even those who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working on this on series of occasions, and it has not just materialized. I have the project proposal is there, even the system, the budget, everything has been laid up, and we've been looking for sponsors, but we still not. But fortunately, we started partnering last year with Ablaye Mbaye. Ablaye Mbaye actually assisted us in trying to secure some of these seals and some of these medals from Norway. So we are putting them together so as to be able to have the relevant sponsors to work on them. But we are verifying at the moment that we will be holding on this. Maybe, if not 2021, but most likely then 2022, inshallah, we will be starting what we call the National Excellence in the Arts Award. That's in the creative industry. We'll be having that. It's in the pipeline. Just things are too many, and government is not giving the required funding or attention to arts and culture. So most of these things, you know how it is. We go out there to seek for funding. I write projects every other day to be able to get things to work in this department.
Yeah. So the reason I am saying this because I am very happy that you have a national calendar of festivals, and we can all recall that during the time of Jammeh, we had the Kanilai International Festival, and this was done during the tourist season. And we have artists all the way from Jamaica, the likes of Sisla Kalanje, coming to the Gambia. And we also have the brother of Michael Jackson also in the Gambia. So I am thinking in this direction to be able to have part of the national calendar of festivals, an international festival that is going to showcase Gambia, whereby ambassadors like Musambu and the likes of Sura Suso, the likes of Dauda Jobate and the Tankun Jobates and the Gambian artists that are there now, the local Gambian artists, to be able to put all of them together, whereby they can also be able to collaborate, like they can do what we call co-production projects, whereby like some of the projects Musa was doing, bringing artists from the UK to the Gambia. I think if the center could take a step like that, we will be able to have a very established national festival that will be applauded by the world. What do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you, Carl. That's food for thought. It's good opinion, and it's well noted. We will look into that. But as I said, in the national calendar of festivals, or in the national calendar, there is a criteria we use to be able to assess a festival to be part of the national calendar. Because once a festival is being accepted or is being categorized and it's put into the national calendar, it has government subvention, it has government funding. We automatically take over to make sure we put into it. Like the Jangembure Cultural Festival, we put a lot of resources into it. The International Roots Festival, we put a lot of resources into it. Like even the Katong International Festival, we do put some resources there. the recently ones like the Sutukoba, which is just recently integrated into it. We put resources into it. So all these festivals, what we look at, one of the principal criteria we look for is continuity. Like I used to have a problem with you people, with yourself and Ibrahim Sise. Why did I put your famous festival called, is it the reggae festival or something like that?
Kunda Festival. What kind of problem do you have with us? Tell me.
The reason why I did not put the Reggae Kunda festival, it was doing very well, but I was afraid that it may not have continuity. Like what is happening now, it's not happening anymore. And once you are being put into the national calendar of festivals, the GT board put resources into it because I sent it to the GT board, and the GT board gives it to the department for marketing, and marketing gives it to all the tour operators. And these tour operators, they sell the product within their tour packages. So we don't want to have a festival that will happen this year, and next year, if the tour operators are selling it, the festival, they say, no, sorry, the festival owner or the chief executive officer of the festival is traveling to Germany or to Swiss, so the festival is not able to take place. So the festival die out.
No, I think you have right. You have right in that area. But again, you could recall to the fact that the Regakunda Festival was intended to continue, but the problem was, the chief funder, because there was no funds coming from government or even private sector.
Yeah.
And the guy was in exile. The guy was in exile because he was part of the people who were like fighting the dictator during that time. You remember that?
I understand very well, and I applauded all the efforts that was done towards the reggae. In fact, it was almost on the brink of being. I was on the brink of almost integrating it, because, as I said, any festival is being integrated. Government takes a part to make sure it goes on. But what I always do is it has to have the relevance of continuity. And
exactly.
Of continuity is about the structures that has to be in place, and we are sure that this will actually move on. It doesn't have to center on one individual. And the Reggae Kunda Festival was solely and wholly supported by Ibrahim Sise.
Exactly.
If anything happens with that festival, then there was a problem. Like we said, if anything happens the festival will have a problem. So this is why we were not. In fact, just recently, after 10 years of the open mic, in the last 2 or 3 years that I integrated the open mic. After 10 years of the open mic. The open mic now is integrated as part of the national calendar of festivals. We give money to the open mic. But it took them so long before we could have accepted or we could have integrated the open mic festival into the national calendar of events directly. But we had to see sustainability. And this is what the open mic was able to establish after 10 years of running it structurally and turning it into an enterprise. Then we said about I think 3 or 4 years ago, then we decided to say, you know what, I think open mic needs to be part of the national calendar of events. And now the open mic is part of the national calendar of events.
I understand that part. Your argument is well noted, but again, I am just saying, part of the national festival that will be motivated by the National Center for Arts and Culture. And if I may be right, you can prove me wrong because my boss also is here, Paos is here. I think in 2018, no. The updated cultural policy. It was there that the National Center for Arts and Culture, in collaboration with the Artistic Association, should set up a national festival. Am I right in that? I can't. Yeah, that will celebrate Gambian culture. So I am just saying that something like that is just related to the Kalilu International Festival could be initiated by the center, and then ambassadors like Musa, and we have great talents outside Gambia and in the Gambia to bring them all together. That will not be solely controlled by private music promoters or entertainment bodies, but again that will be controlled by the music sector and also the National Center for Arts and Culture.
Yes, Carl, I think that is doable because, as you know very well, in the constitution of the Gambia Music Union, there is GAMFest.
There is GAMFest, okay.
And we are looking solely and wholly to support the GAMFest. And you know that we had started working on that very well to be able to execute the GAMFest.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I understand that part. Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we do not want to be creating because we have our own bowl full already. Like we have the International Roots Festival, which is the only national festival that government runs itself.
Yeah, so something like that is what I'm talking about. If you
in fact, we should have had it in 2020 December, but unfortunately COVID came and swallowed it. In fact, the money.
No, I'm just suggesting to you. I'm just suggesting to you. The International Root Festival. The International Root Festival is very important. I think you should be able to get artists like the Surasusos, some books and their band, and Pa, what do you say? Pa, Assalamu alaikum.
In fact, these are the targets we are looking for, like the Sona Jobates. You name them. We will be bringing them.
Okay. So let me be specific here. So Musa, we have seen in your biography, there is a lot of funding opportunities that you were able to tap with regards to art centers outside the Gambia. How do you go about it? Hello? Musa, I think your mic is muted.
I think you muted me somewhere.
Okay, maybe Pa did that. Okay, so I was saying that you have to remove the mute from your side.
Okay, I did just now.
Yeah, but yeah, you are okay now. No, but you did it again. Okay, now it's all right. No, you did it again.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you repeat your question again?
So I was saying in your biography, we saw a lot of opportunities. Pa, are you also coming? Let me introduce you before you come in. Pa.
Allow Musa to answer and then I will come in.
Okay, so I saw a lot of arts funding that were awarded to you to be able to do your cultural programs. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, because the reason why I achieved that, when I live here now, and as a musician, I'm collaborating with other international artists, very talented musicians. Very talented musicians, to be honest, and it's not easy having that connection with them. But the way I was trained, and my background in the music industry, from what I learned when I was in the Gambia, performing with Fambundi, doing music also with Abdel Kabir. You see, that's why sometimes I just want to believe that Gambia don't understand or don't value the pioneers they have. Because for us who have been trained through those people and living in England now, and all those awards you see or recommendation or connection I have is because I was collaborating with different artists and exchanging ideas through music as well. But the believing and the support and the excitement they will always show me when I present things from the Gambia. For example, when I talk about my roots, when I talk about my culture, when when I talk about my music, when I talk about the percussion as well, because percussion, even if you come to the drums themselves, drums, any set of drums, they have different names. So you have the lamba, tambat, mbombong, kungu, and all these things. So it's combination of different voices that forms a rhythm. You see what I mean? And what is coming out from the roots we have from the Gambia and how we play those drums, and some of the chanting, like what the drums when you want to speak, using the drums, the language you use, the chanting you use, and turn that into routine. So these are all things I've been doing, and I've been showing them, working with them through music, that they believe that we have something very unique in the Gambia. And this connection became unique between me and them as well, as a composer and a writer, and also creating all the sides of platform which you can introduce your culture more clearly. This is why I achieved all those things. And I was open. You have to be open. You don't have to be self-centered. You don't have to just believe that all what you know is what counts. You have to open the door. You have to, I don't know, there's a word we use. You have to compromise. You see what I mean? Because I've been working with
Mhm.
different type of music, jazz, blues, rock, and all these things. But trying to, myself in a position with them so that we can work as a team. That's why I always create like a trip to the Gambia and take some musicians there. And when we are there, I'll make sure we walk, we interact with different types of tribes in the Gambia, because the culture in the Gambia is rich. The culture in the Gambia is rich. So many people don't know, because when you travel, maybe you're not open to know all the areas and to find out the way you can fit in yourself to represent your country properly. But Gambia, what we have in the Gambia, if the doors are open widely, we can take Gambia. I can say we can take the Gambia music further.
Yeah, I think Musa, that is the right place to end it before Paul will come and the director is here. You said two important things. We have a rich cultural heritage in the Gambia, and when the doors are open, it will be able to pay dividend. Pa, what do you say to that? And the Mr. Director, Mr. Director, Musa Wahna Pida, Wahna Lehama is important for all of us. Huh?
Yes.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Kalilu.
Uh-huh.
I greet you all in the spirit of Gambianism. And I am here smiling as I hear my brother, Mr. Musambu, talk. I want to pay special tribute to him and the older generation of Gambian musicians. When they write, you smile. When they talk, you feel very good. And when they sing, you want to cry. They are indeed a generation that was well versed and knowledgeable and educated. And I want to encourage the younger generation of Gambian musicians to learn from them. I never had the opportunity to directly interact with him. And today is the first time I'm happy to see him here. The same thing applies to Mr. Sheikh Omar. I greet you again, brother. I cannot concur or agree any better with Mr. Mbu. Um, it is very important for us to know where we come from and who we are. I have a very busy schedule, but I see you having Sheikh Omar again. And
Mm-hmm.
that interaction, that support that the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Tourism, through the NCAC, is providing, is definitely very important for Gambian, for Gambian talent to excel, for Gambian culture to be promoted. I am getting feedback, Khalid. I'm not sure if it is on your side.
Yeah, I'm not also sure because I don't have anything.
Okay. Um, so for Gambian culture to be appreciated, for Gambian culture to make it far, the National Center for Arts and Culture, the government of the Gambia through the NCAC, has to be able to do a lot more than they are doing for those in the industry. And I'm glad that Mr. Mbu spoke along those lines. Say, Omar is here. I want to encourage Mr. Jallo to open his doors. The same way Mr. Mbu is doing his thing in the UK, there are several other Gambians around the world, including ourselves, who are able to do a lot in promoting our culture, in exporting Gambian culture, in bringing tourists back into the country. This is not a joke. Khalil, you are aware of it. Last year, we were supposed to do the Sound of Africa Festival. We are not struggling, Mr. Jallo. In the West, I am in Seattle. I have funding currently to run an office space here that is facilitated by the county. They didn't have to give Gambian talent a single dime. I'm currently at the office right now. Everything you see in the office, including this big screen, is sponsored. We are running over $200,000 project at this minute, just at this minute, from last year till now, that is funded by different institutions here. All that the county did for us is give us their backing by writing cover letters, by referring us to funders, by putting their signature and stamp on us as an organization, as a partner organization that is here representing the diverse community, the Gambians in Washington State, in Snohomish County. And this is benefiting the Gambians here to a great extent. We are providing different kinds of services, from transportation to different things, and promoting our culture and tradition is key. We partner with the University of Washington Bottle. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting with them, and we can bring in Gambian musicians here. We can bring in Gambian culture, traditional players. And if these people happen to come and they do spectacular performances, this will sell our culture. And by extension, some of the things we want to do is be able to coordinate trips for folks in Washington State to be able to come to the Gambia for tourism. These are tangible things. They open their doors to us, but unfortunately, we have a lot of difficulty when it comes to dealing with our government. I personally interacted with you through the project that we were doing for the Ndanans a few months ago. Definitely, I ended up even recommending that you be taken out of that group because of your performance or the way you were responding or barely responding to us. I mean, when we did the cultural, the Cora Award, I mean, through our partner, Prince Kuyate, those efforts were frustrated. Last week, Musangom Jr. had his cultural program to promote it. The same sentiments were shared. I have on numerous occasions had people like Solso and their Banjul Cultural Festival expressing disappointment about the NCAC and the role that should have been played. So I've heard you talk about endorsing the open mic and putting it on the national calendar. After 8 years, to me, that is a disappointment. These are things, if the Gambian citizens around the world have something that is good enough, just by looking at it, something that has a potential, I believe the government of the Gambia through the NCAC should be able to support these projects, even if you don't give it money, just by endorsing it and making life easy for the people that are doing it, creating the conducive environment for them and endorsing it alone is good enough. If there is any documentation that they need to make this happen, we facilitate it for them. These are some of the recommendations that I really have. It's discouraging for those in the Gambia, more for those of us who are afar, who may try to just reach you through a phone call or through an email and don't get any response. Believe it or not, other countries are taking advantage of it. Our culture and tradition is being claimed by Senegal. I have several evidences, several evidences of things that are Gambian owned. And I talk about this always. I interrogate Gambian talents on it. I've interacted with all levels of Gambian musicians, and things that we could have claimed to be ours are being lost to Senegal because they have the support. Other countries around the world may have the same thing. So I want to encourage Mr. Jallo and the NCAC to open their doors more, because there's a lot that can come into the country by promoting our culture. Every country around the world is making billions of dollars by selling their culture. And the Gambia should not be an exception to this. But with my experience, everybody that I deal with seem to have, for the most part, a bad experience when it comes to the NCAC. You are here, these are allegations I'm making, and you have the opportunity to respond to them, and then we will have the conversation. Hopefully, we will be able to do something together that can put our country on the map in an international level, or at the international level. Because you cannot be sitting in the office and doing all of these things. You need partners and stakeholders who will be able to do it for you. This is what I wanted to contribute for now. But it's not too late. If you open your doors to Mozambique, if you open your doors to Gambian talent, if you open your doors to several other people, believe it or not, it can go, it can go, it can go, and the Gambia will regain every single dime that it has lost. Thank you very much.
When Uncle is coming, Uncle Badajov, he said, don't wait for government, create your own activities. And now, I always have to speak when Uncle is talking, because one thing people fail to understand is that even if you are a private sector, you need that public and private sector partners.
No, can I come in here?
Okay. I think
what
on the talk.
Now, I think what the government should do really, they should be the ACAC, NCAC, they should try to be independent. I mean, government should make that office independent, so that they can, I know, because there are a lot of artists within that office, and the more they are independent, they can deal the right way, in the manner, the attention they should give to the musician. Like Usman just said, I myself, I'm not trying to show off, but I mean, for a number of years, I can say not once, not twice, not three times, I've been making proposals. The best way to promote tourism is through music. And where should we promote tourism? Where do we expect tourism to come? Tourism comes from abroad. We live in Europe. We have a band. We are doing music. We are collaborating with a lot of different types of musicians. We're going all over the world. We're traveling around. This is the best opportunity that we can use to promote our Gambian tourism. But many times I've been traveling to the Gambia with this on the table, with this proposal on the table. And I want them to empower me, so that every concert we do, anywhere we travel around Europe, we can promote our Gambian tourism. We can distribute flyers, we can distribute whatever, we can even compose a song. That was the arrangement I have. On stage, you have 500 people, 300 people with the audience, and then that's the best moment you can use to break attention through, to tell them, where is the Gambia? Why is it called the Smiling Coast? You know, all these things need to be put in place in order to support the Gambian tourism. But we cannot do it as well without them listen. I think the problem with Gambia, I even say with the National Arts and Culture and the government, they're having this problem that is listening and acting. You know, if somebody came with a proposal, especially artists who live outside Gambia, for me, every year I'm in the Gambia. Why? Because it's my roots. I want to go and refresh my mind. I want to go and collaborate with the guys. I even make my band laugh. I said, when we are traveling to the Gambia, guys, I'm taking you to help me. Then you will see how we charge our batteries. We charge the batteries again. So, but these are all difficulties I have. I cannot promote. I cannot help to promote the Gambian tourism properly the way I want it, because when I go to the Gambia with an idea on the table, proposal on the table, is not followed. They will give me all their work. Okay, we about it, but after all, nothing will happen. And then that means we can't do nothing, but still, there's a lot of things we can do. All the countries that benefited from tourism, they have a very good way of promoting the tourism. And through music, that's the best way to promote the tourism.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Musa. I think Sekoma will share the same view also with you. Let us hear from him. Mr. Director, what is your reaction to Pa and my uncle right there?
Thank you very much, Carl. Uh, I appreciate their
Mm-hmm.
points, and then I would like to acknowledge and tell
Mm-hmm.
them that their points are well taken.
Mm-hmm.
But Kalilu, I want to tell you, you see, art councils, ask Musa, art councils don't implement projects or don't do things. You see how the arts council in UK is set up? They only have a large amount of money. You bring in your proposals, they vet it, and then they acknowledge it. They give you fund, you go and do it. This is how arts councils function.
Exactly. Exactly.
Unfortunately, in the absence of that funding that they have, that they will be distributing, do you know what would they do?
No.
They will be closed because funding is what makes them to exist. This is what art councils are, and this is the same setting that the Gambia had put itself and did not give the funding. This is not the first time for you to know the budget of the NCAC. The budget of the NCAC, everybody knows that because since when I came in there, I did not keep it. I disclosed it out to everybody that the NCAC is getting 0.0003 zeros after the zero, the dot 0.5. This is what the NCAC gets as a national budget. That is not even suffice for the staffs that are employed in the NCAC. Carl, do you know a director at NCAC receives salary for less than $10,000? $9,766. This is what I receive as salary.
So so now Omar, I want you to,
Here.
you said something very important. I want to help you. Pa, if you can join here because you put a case to Omar, and it's important that all of us stakeholders in the industry to be able to get this.
Yes.
Sec is saying that the art councils outside Gambia,
Mhm.
the governments, their government will provide the necessary funding that they need to be able to support the creative sectors or this creative industry.
Mhm.
And in the Gambia, the subvention that the Gambia government is giving to NCAC is 0.005%.
No, no,
So
08.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's minimal.
I want to respond to that.
No, I just want to ask you a question, Pa.
Okay.
What I am thinking and the motive of this program is for the creative sector personnel to be able to support NCAC to advocate for that so that the government of the Gambia could be able to provide better funds.
Okay, so let me say this here, right? Yes, the NCAC needs funds to sustain itself, but just like I said in my earlier deliberation, the Snohomish County, for example, or the Arts Council, does not give us money. What they do is give us their political backing by writing recommendations and referring us to funders who actually are able to fund us. And number two, for example, what the county did, and I said this in your last show, Kalilu, I think whether in your last show or the one before, when you invited me, when we had Delimadi, I told you that the county was trying to establish a social justice department. And the council did not want that to happen. They wanted it justified. When they brought us on board to convince them, they had a survey that they wanted us to fill out. The council gave us this. We told them that we want to meet with the council members themselves. We want to be able to talk to them, and we put our case in front of them. Of course, the county be no bad basically, and we spoke to the council members and we told them exactly what we wanted. NCAC can be able to use the artists, can be able to use the musicians, the cultural performance, and those in the field. Put look under them, so even to the National Assembly or anywhere to request for these things. So wherever, whether it's to the Ministry of Finance, I'm not in government. I don't know how it works there, but I know governments use us here, the government here, they use us to be able to get the things that are going to benefit us directly. When you use them, whether it's using or not using, at the end of the day, when you use it benefits us. So I don't mind they use us in the right way, does not benefit. For them talk politicians, the politicians gave them a survey for them to censor us. For you justify, look at you on your phone. Guy in the new survey, we are not filling out any survey. We want to sit with you to tell you our problem. We want you to listen to us on our terms. We want you to know that this is something that is very important. We are contributing to the GDP of the country, and you need to respect us instead of just sitting on your desk and having your imagination and just get comparing you to the budget. We don't want that to happen. We want you to respect what we are doing in our contribution. And guess what? That has worked. One of the services, a typical example. Right now, if you are following Gambian talent or following me, you will see that I posted vaccination that Gambians over here are getting. These politicians made those decisions. They sat in their place and they said there are 743 or thereabouts senior living homes in Washington or Snohomish County. Mary Finbeka at 5. And a lot of us. When you go to senior living home, where do they fall? By constantly communicating. When the council had their meeting and they invited us, they told them that that is very unfair because we have Gambians here, we have South Africans, and we have foreigners whose parents don't live in these nursing homes, in these other living homes. If you are going to give vaccines to these people, using parents if online belong, guess what? Right now, as we speak, every week we are allocated from 3 weeks ago, we are allocated 300 doses of vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines. It was as a result of our dialogue and interaction with the council. So these are the things that NCAC and the government of the Gambia should be able to open for gain deglu stakeholders. So equality, equitable distribution of resources, and some of these things you don't even have to give. All you need is provide the backing. I'm not sure if this makes sense, but that's just one of the things we are not able to do much when it comes to the arts because of the COVID restrictions and the like, gatherings and the like. But there are other services we are providing, and all of this we have the backing of the council, and not a single dime has council or government ever given us. But they give us the political backing and they listen to us. Government ni Kalilu mu struggle for do that. I'm not sure if you have anything to respond to what I said.
Well, I have always been interested in it. I'm glad that you have made a good point. You are not in government and you don't know how government functions. You remember very clearly, as you reminded me that you were part of the YIDAC group when I was on the other side of the fence as an independent individual working with government. I had the same sentiments like you right now. This is my way of thought. I had accused NCAC, fight them, accuse them, door them, the thing that I did to NCAC, I think no artist will ever do it to NCAC. And you know what? In the end, what you know why NCAC brought me in? They said to me, hey, you are on the show for the I don't know when they show us. When I came in there, I come to see the reality. It's different. Think it's completely different with that thought. This is of a naked on the other side of the fence. I wish I am back on the other side of the fence like you are, and then I would be putting and criticizing NCAC and then looking at the points that I would have been able to say. But now, I will not say that because knowing the internal nitty-gritty lead up in between the media man be ugly bini. I know it's just the man in the blame, blame them when Maya hasn't correct. But I will never blame them again because I have lived it. And Lingawa Purne, an open door. There is nobody in this country who has an open door policy in this country more than my office or more than NCAC. The only office more than I know second in run come like a clinic. Don't be there to my time, even to write, even a single letter or something like that. People will line like Musambub. He never comes to my office and just walk in. It's never possible. Nobody comes to my office and walk in. You will have to come and do because there are people or artists that need every day, every moment. They need solutions. They need letters. And letters in my office, even to came back, you don't have a day in my office to write letters. Even the letters that they got to go to GP Nyele for all these things, I wrote it down. Letters, acknowledgement, endorsement is not our problem. Our only problem is about pushing out funds because this is what we do not have. The funding be Kufa Neta Miyaga, Hamalanga like funding, or Kufa Sola Miyaga at NCAC. You were asking for funding, but it's not there. I disclosed my salary just now to you. Why would I even do that? Because just to show you the intricacies that is necessary on the ground down there, but it's just the passion. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I have chosen to do. The arts councils all over the world. They sit with a lot of money. They don't implement. Why you they get the projects? You they don't have even training, cross training, motion arts training. I have initiated now and then got international funding for it. I have thrown the first cohort of film producers in this country. Manual motion picture arts certificate. The final to NCAC again. We did it for NCAC. More than 25. All the 25 are the people that are manning TV, QTV, GRTS, and Paradise FM. So some of those cohorts, they came through that motion picture art certificate, which ended up becoming now the digital art certificate at the UTG. It's part of it. The creative industry, CBEB, the creative business enterprise. Most of these art managers that have overwhelmed. That is the managers of Estila, Moy, Jizul, Agnon, they all underwent that course training. These are not our part. This is not what art councils do. They don't train. They don't have certificates. They don't have letters. They don't have letter of endorsement. They don't program. They don't implement. This is not what art councils do.
Okay, say Omar.
We end up even going now, even into the affairs of unions. Because if things are not working,
let me give you a typical example of one that I was involved with, not even going far to what other people said. Typical example was when the Ndanan project fundraising was to be done. A WhatsApp group was that if you were involved with that, you made commitment for the hotel to be used, Sen Hotel to be used for that project. I mean, and everybody was excited. The WhatsApp group was done. There were several instances that Sheikh Omar was contacted. You did not respond to any of these messages, for the most part, until I personally recommended, and time was going. The venue you committed to give, and you want to defer flyers. We need to make commitment. There were arrangements for rehearsals to be made. Sheikh Omar was nowhere to be seen or heard. Several efforts were made directly by myself and my team. Bail na la message, ñeneen ñi bail nañ la message, you never responded. I said ne, dañ la wara génné ci groupe bobu because you were kind of just redundant, just knowing everything we were planning and not responding to anybody. We are all busy. I said it there. I seen the messages you listened to, and say, Omar, the messages, but you never responded to anybody, and we were all very busy. So,
Well, good. The Indian program, I did the first letters for GRTS or TV.
Yes.
I put it up, not so.
Yes.
The group is my group. Microphone. The ensemble Bobuno, Jalimata and group Bobuno, I put them together. Ask them. They will tell you.
Okay.
So he said Jalimata, we shouldn't make any comment on that. And then even during the cover, I was paying that group. Time COVID, the man don't say Baraki no, line by the in the proposal. I was paying them every month. The guy they don't know for rehearsal by force. So suma group la. Leave Jalib Liki don't def blind by Bam Duga say them don't def what Jalib blind by was doing was helping us. And I appreciated it very well. But Bam Deme it bring in a conflict of interest. Live in the one conflict of interest with my one name. If I have to, because people came to my office and even came to the Director General, Momjali Badar was very much aware, and they said, why was NCAC doing this? They thought, because I was involved, because the moment I am involved, people see NCAC. And why was, if NCAC is going to do this for the Ndanan group B, is it going to do it for the Seurua group vitamin? Is it going to do it for the Jahanka group vitamin? Is it going to do it for the Laube group vitamin? Fekanane, either Samba more fail for the venue because Mandama arrange the pare for the venue. Either Samba them for I will never have time to go and get anything for you at that place. Either Samba yo yamane, either Samba I'm living them on cover in Yomi. Either Samba did not appear in that appointment Bobununu. And I had all done the arrangement with Max, Muiboram Hotel Bobunonu, and then left it everything on his side. Max was so disappointed when you were working at they had made a change. Because Ida Samba never appointed. Man, do more on them at Ida Samba tete to tete. They were connected. I have made the arrangements with you, and I have made the arrangement with the hotel owner. You don't need to get me on the ground. I don't need to be there. All that you need to do, go out there. It was unfortunate that Ida Samba never, Fat Samba never had the chance or never came there to that place, even to that, to my understanding from Boy. And when they told her, I would not be following them or Nekanadama followed by segment by segment. Little not Magene one small Bobasi group or Suma one said on your behalf was by virtue of only the on that name. Would I do it for the Fuller group with the same thing? Would I do it for the Jahan group with the same thing? Would I do when I know that was not something that was practical because it was on the same reason why GRTS did not want to air it on and then Gillian in England. It was the same reason. QTV must start work be why QTV had to challenge Bobunonu when they did it in Korite, when they had so many letters and so many interventions about that they also other groups also wanted it because they were thinking that it was going national. GRTS we wrote to them, ma be the letter, not Gabriel, not Pa Kini, I wrote the letter to GRTS to inform them and tell them about this. GRTS responded that the same issue now. I will support them. Why I have always been behind them because Suma Venue and they train all the places that they are. It's my high place that they were training because they are still training in that place. Even guy last week, Minister, they did the 13th convocation of the University of the Gambia program. So that is my group.
Okay. So see here. As far as in my view, communication is the most important thing, and that is what is lagging here. Bena Silingawa, we have made several efforts and reference your name and say Omar never responded, not even one time, and you had opened all those messages. We don't just get up and go places when we are making arrangements with somebody. Proposals were made for Saint Omar to be interviewed to give hype to this thing to show that NCAC is actually backing this event. You never responded to those things. We don't just get up and go to this place, to this venue. Fatamba herself was not there, but there are people who were assigned to have gone to, do this thing. Fatamba is not the only journalist, by the way, at Gambian Talent. That's not one. This change that you are talking about, as far as the involving other artists are concerned, unless you let me know. At no point, this is news to me. If it is something that was a great concern for the council and you are not able to do it because of this, you should be able to communicate this to the group, because when it gets to that level and that group was created, it was no longer an individual thing. It doesn't matter how the idea came about. We were brought into it later. What we were told about DRTS has to do with percentage that they were asking for, and this was confirmed by the DRTS management. I mean, because I had meetings with them afterwards, and they wish they took this project on. In fact, I was able to establish or re-establish my partnership with them when they saw the Danan project and some of the cultural projects they were doing that they think is very key, and they need those projects. So it was because of Yofi Halis, a percentage that they were asking for. This is what the group, the team we were working for, told us. If it was the fact, if it was about sustainability or doing it for this group and not being able to do it for that group, in my view, and I think it was going to be nice for Sheikh Omar or the NCAC to get back to the group and say, well, we got into this. Unfortunately, because of consistency or because we are not able to do it for everyone, we cannot just prioritize this group. Nonetheless, we will give you our backing, whatever you guys need, Nungfa. Even if it takes showing up on the day of the event. Poli def, ngeen show up. Dollar def, ngeen show up. Sarahule def, ngeen show up. Sumoba Foguma Kentina len blame just for showing up and giving the political backing. But this was never communicated as far as I know. If you have communicated that, maybe you can let us know who you communicated it through. I mean, but through that group, I'm friend to say Omar Duge to actually say these things that you are saying.
Well, Jelly will tell you, and then Line by will tell you, because man communicate na again. In fact, sa libawa ni most of it said nekut ne sane damokowa. Ma Jelly go de gandor. There are not points boham damokowa de. We all heard about it. Ask him again, because there are makla Jelly yala def ko dimbale makla kilifala. And then limbana ni waso ase belifine munema no man li duma ko communiquer ak ñi ni. Why did I say man we always take it. We become silent in most cases when we know that things are not needed. Respond after. Didn't only don't follow up and everything else. I never commented and I never did anything in terms of but Delhi will always come back to me, because Delhi can never do anything with that group without coming back to Sheikh Omar. I have always been there for him.
I'll let you continue with the other stuff. I'm just giving you an instant. And in this situation, though, communication is very important. Communication is very important, and I will encourage you to definitely improve on that line. If you are dealing with people, whether you are not getting hold of you, or people, you involved with people on something and not getting back to them and being mute while they are giving you different suggestions and asking your feedback on things, and you are not responding. In my view, improve, especially you and your person. It's left for you to take it or not, but I think you need to improve a lot in communication with folks that you deal with when people reach out to you. You don't have to come to the ground, but a lot can happen that can actually take this art sector far, especially with stakeholders. So, when stakeholders, you will go very far.
Pasa why mune Uncle Bado mune ngawa sekoman bul you because of audience guide of living, you know. So wow, I think so second one.
I don't want to get this thing lost, but I think it's important, Kalilu. I just want to encourage Mr. Jallo to open his doors to stakeholders and give it a try. Bunhar niti struggle on their own. Them hubudas wala ben gis success. Like, and that's how I assess it with the open mic, then the ages before you go endorse. Bring by anything you struggle. Then help people from the get-go, not only by writing letters. I've said this on your show that the Gambia and Gambians are very good at writing policies and things. But when it comes into practice, providing certain basic things, it's just a follow-up. Doing the follow-up. So, that's not all. It's important. That's not all. You might be able to help you through the process by taking it to the next level. This is what I wanted to say to Mr. Jallo. Overall, I mean, what he said, I know it is a lot more challenging. Bim demee ba toog mu ne what I thought when I was outside and when I came inside, it became very different. You know, constant bejawi, danga bejaw barak. Within 2 years, nga bejaw ni bewe. Mune lima fogon bima neke CBT ak bima ñëwé ci biir dafa outé. And lolu I know it, but still, what I think we are requesting or demanding are very basic things that could be done, especially on the side of communication and pushing with people up to the last dot. Ba nga xamné dara mënta sokki ñu xamné non la waye do téké ni ñi commencé ak ñom dem ba ci digga bi nga rocceeku seen loxo foofu laa waxee Cheikh Omar, but thank you very much for everything you do. The conversations have to continue. Kalilu jërëjëf and Mr.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Well understood. It's point noted.
Yeah, I'm experiencing some problems with my laptop. But anyway, Sekomar, Degangas Palumwa. Why anyway, we will not go into that because we have our special guest here, Musa. So Musa, we were talking about the Arts Council, but you told us something very important with regards to Yanama Dega. The network is breaking here and there. Why Munge break there?
Clearly.
Yeah, Madega. So Musa, what are some of the projects that you are doing right now for the Gambia and outside Gambia?
Can we have man?
Wow.
It's not clear. It's not clear. Can you repeat it again? Can you say it again?
I'm saying, what are some of the programs you have in your hand at the moment?
Pardon?
Some of the programs that you have at the moment.
All right. Yeah. We have a lot in plan at the moment. What we are engaged in a lot of educational work as well, because we want to take the education workshop to another level, not only drumming and dance, but helping the students to understand how they can build up confidence in themselves in terms of composing and arranging music as well. And my input to that is I'm bringing stuff from the Gambia. I'm trying to deal with different traditional songs from the Gambia, and also to make our culture understand widely in the UK as well. And also, we have this plan that if it was not because of the pandemic, the band will have been in Gambia. That was our plan. We have all planned to tour the Gambia, but because of the pandemic, that makes it very impossible. So, but still, it's in our mind. I mean, to organize that. This way, I think Sehu Omar will hear us as well. But as I said, I had Sehu Omar mention about artists letters, and I think some of our artists also in the Gambia, they got it wrong that just a letter from National Arts and Culture cannot make you an ambassador somewhere. You have to force. You can have the letter of support, of course. I'm not denying that, but what I think is the most important thing for us, the artists, to do is try and nurture themselves to our music, to understand our roots, to learn the music properly. Because nowadays, I can see that to become a star quickly, it's just like that in a day, because technology is assisting most of these artists to sample things and get there a single and think you have paved the way. There's a long way to go before you can break through the institution. You have to let's Gambia. Let us not. When I say us, I mean myself and all the artists in the Gambia. Let us understand that we have our roots. Let us understand that we have our culture. Whatever we're doing, we should try and maintain the color of our culture and nurture that, so that still the banner of the Gambia will remain in our hands. Music is not something that you can just make one single and consider yourself as a star. This is what misleading lot of our Gambian music. Let's make the research. We have to make the research. We have to, even if I was in Sheikh Omar's position as the director of National Arts and Culture, I would try and fight for it to make sure that the Gambia have like a music school. That's the thing we need. I know that
Yeah, but
they're
that is what
organizing
that
this.
is what the director is saying. Mr. Mbok, I don't want to
Yes,
cut you, but that is
yeah,
also what the director is saying, that there has
yeah,
been an advocacy to be able to develop a curriculum for the cultural sector
yeah,
in the Gambia, so that we can have like a music school in the Gambia, because since after
yeah, yeah,
independence, there
yeah.
is no established curriculum in the school system of the
Mhm.
Gambia where people can go and learn music, or people can go
Exactly.
and learn theater, or people can go and learn multimedia. Maybe you have private multimedia companies.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
some people are saying is that
Yeah,
private institutions can be able to set up in the Gambia, but
yeah.
again, we need
Hmm.
also the government to be able to support them. Like we have to complement each other. We are not saying
Definitely.
like 1,000% or 100% the government
Just the
have to
government.
do everything. But
Yes,
again,
yes.
the government also have to complement the effort of the people who are doing good. Like what we were talking about the letters. Pa was not talking about the artists writing letters. It was
Hmm.
basically like you, Musambuk, wants to do an activity in UK. So
Yeah.
it is important that a recommendation from your National Center for Arts and Culture, which
Arts
is
and
the
culture.
Gambia,
Yes.
to be able
Yes.
to back you, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Yeah.
so
But
that is what we are talking about. And
yes,
when we need
that
a curriculum like that, we need
yeah.
people like you. We need people like Badu Basket to be able to give their inputs to
Hmm.
support the Arts Council to be able to come up with a curriculum for music. Because,
Hmm.
like Badu is saying, when we invite him to this program, he doesn't
Hmm.
come. And then, but again, when we are developing a curriculum in the Gambia to be able to learn music, to be able to nurture music, to be able to promote talent,
Hmm.
I think we need experts like you to be able to work in harmony with the National Center for Arts and Culture. So there is a
Okay.
relationship. There is a relationship to work with government. There is a relationship
Yeah.
to collaborate with the government, and it is all geared towards, creating that enabling environment to be able to
Yeah.
promote our Gambian music, culture, and heritage.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with you. But again, because I know myself, a lot of musicians in the Gambia, they think is if you go to the National Arts and Culture, like for instance, you see Seho Omar to write you a letter just to back you up. All is good, but you have
Mhm.
to put yourself in the level in a level that you are aiming to work at. If you see what I mean, you must understand. You must have the right status. You must know exactly what you're doing before going to national. But you're talking about outside, because sometimes here you can deliver a letter, but not only the letter is enough. You have to the knowledge also, your performance also is very important. That's what makes you succeed. Not only having the letter from any official means, if you see what I mean. But I mean, government also need to. The problem we have with government in the Gambia, I mean, they don't listen to. Um, I don't think whether they strongly believe that music can be part of the national development as well. I,
What
I
do you
don't I
say to
don't
that,
think.
Mr. Sek Omar? I think NCSE is promoting that already.
Well, yeah,
So I want to
no,
comment, Musa, about that.
yeah,
What he is trying to explain in here, I understand it very well, and I agree with him. It's you have to build your status before the institution builds you. Even if the institution gives the best of recommendation for you, and you don't have the status, you did not create the status, you will not be able to excel anywhere.
Exactly.
Some
That
artists
is right.
have made it through. We have no recommendation from government. They did not need. They were already recommended. Then they came to me for me to be informed. So when we did not, but there are some that we also wrote recommendation letter or attestation letters because it was required for their awards. I have written almost more than 100 letters that have been distributed to different institutions, even for visas. You know that very well. Even for visas and even for other stuff, we write to attest about the status of that artist to say yes, he is a recognized artist in the Gambia. He is known for this. He is known for this. That is just a word to throw about the artist. But the artist yourself building up your profile, I think that's not standard. Because if you don't have the standard, you don't have the profile, there is no amount of letter that I can write that can change that for you to become a star overnight. So I agree with him very well on that. And the other point is, yes, in collaboration of what we do in trying to make sure that we sell some of these things, especially about cultural tourism, like he was saying previously. Now, you know that we have already started appointing what we call cultural ambassadors. And at the moment, we have gone up to the 4 now. We are looking at the 5. I am working on that right now. And these are the people that we have started categorizing the sector of our musicians. Here we are talking about our domestic musicians, people who have actually tried to be rated. We have given about 3 or 4 artists now diplomatic status because they are cultural ambassadors. We have used a strategy like Sona Jobate. He's a category A artist because we've been following his work and he's been reporting back his work and we've been seeing what he's been doing until today. He is recognized and she is being awarded a diplomatic passport. Jaliba Kiate, category A artist of the Gambia, because he has put more than 30,000 people in one performance and he has earned that credit, just like Sona Jobate has done it on several occasions. So he's a category A artist. So he's also having an international passport, a diplomatic passport, because he is a cultural ambassador. SP also won it 2 years ago when he has made a big stride to say to me at my office, SOJ, what can you do? I said, is it ST? If you can fill that stadium and change that status quo, the Gambian musicians can fill that stadium like what's that little boy who came just yesterday, that's Wally Seka, to fill that stadium, and our own artists cannot fill that stadium. If you can make a change, ST, we will recommend you for a diplomatic passport, so you will be appointed a cultural ambassador. He did it. Am I right? He got it there for the first time, a Gambian artist to fill that stadium to the brim. More than 30,000 people. He did it and then filled the president and made the film Dukel. Women and Bali Senegal. So we can do it. That was a breakthrough for us. He is given a diplomatic passport. He is a diplomat, a cultural ambassador. And then Giselle came in. When Giselle's manager saw that, he came to me and said to me, Mr. Jala, if you so let me single Gambia, get more feel that stadium more than 30,000 people. Lajal Buso, he's called Modu Buso. Buso came to my office and then said to me, Mr. Jala, if that's the case, then next year you can use your passport. Today, Giselle is having a diplomatic passport. He's a cultural ambassador. And the one that came from nowhere, just the out of the blues, came from the ghetto library. We just do Q City. Sample for a big, more than 30,000 people at Q City. But instead of only you who did down, the man the way he get Q City because it was over ticketed. We sell more than 30,000 people in that program. You know what he has now? John Lenko, a diplomat, a year work to give him a diplomatic status. We are cultural ambassadors this country. You this country like no Musa Mbu. We are looking what they are doing. There will come a time when we will be able to talk over to them because you get on the around 2016 when things just were really wala. Good affair it has about updates about Musa. Then we had to there was a break. So consistency is very necessary in terms of league. We always try to find out how do we get information about artist being because it's all about the artist directly profiling. They now have to profile. So attestations in there let us see again. You know they often why didn't they your character your profile
I totally agree.
Sekomar, that is very important. I think there is a lot of artists in the Gambia and outside Gambia. Like justifications that you are giving with regards to category A, category B, and C artists. They would be able to sell the culture of the Gambia outside because they are doing great. I think you should be able to consider those people also. But notwithstanding now,
well, any artist is able to gather more than 30,000 people, 10 million figure. More than 30,000 to 50,000. In any performance, Mohammed being organized or being performed, being organized young as a solo artist, the perform they gather more than 50,000 people, 30 to 50,000 people outside, 50,000 people. Of course, they don't fall into our category A artists because
exactly.
So Lolo is widespread. Then connection website. Any artist who can gather more than 50,000 people outside. This is Shula. What you invite her? Shula. Yeah, that's what we get. Pusko. That's very town. Let those 50,000 people. You are a cultural ambassador.
Okay. Wow, that is very clear. Lulu is clear. So, second one, I just want us to go back to the Musicians Union of the Gambia because Lulu is very, very important. Musa Musician this information will be very important for him. Maybe some of them that we have outside the Gambia will be able to advise the young generation of how to go about with things like that. You said out of 11 artistic associations in the Gambia, all went to Congress except the Music Union. So the Music Union of the Gambia, them Congress, this now go on Facebook, post go, you get what an a guy. So what is really the problem that you are not considering them? We want this to be clear so that we can amicably settle the conflict. Land more a problem. Why is the National Center for Arts and Culture not recognizing the Musicians Union of the Gambia?
Well, Carl.
And in 2021, we think things are going to be better. Why? What is happening? What is wrong?
Carl, this is my favorite topic, and this is what I was expecting since the start of this conversation. And it might be the end to of this interview or what I'm meaning, because this is something that I had kept myself from interviews or to even talk about throughout. But I decided to give I decided to give you this chance, and I'll talk about it because you will read between the lines because them Sunday kon xam nga lum saf ku ko mo rek moko xam ndaru de lum saf rek moko xam yow dang ko mo and you lived it, so you know if I talk we will be able to relate. All the journalists you might know interview and you might reject it. It's because the man do wax my opinion, you call them the bastardized wahbi. you indi more issues, when you entangle, indi more of a problem than in relationship. And we are all aware that when you say a union, the definition of a union, when associations come together, they form a union. Sector, I'm feeling right now, do a union. It's not the musicians union. It's the Contemporary Artists Association. Because they are not educated. They don't understand about unionism. They don't understand about organizations. So we mislead them about it became a laughing stock. Because now I'm a musicians union. Live band association nekun fa. Traditional association bi nekun fa. The female artist association bi nekun fa. Yen contemporary artists condom it cannot be a union. That is not diverse because it is an association. We had our issues about this COVID funding because they are so over intelligent. So over intelligent here. So set over intelligence them draw their own constitution. Because constitution before NCAC, which I think they have made mistake number one. Man, as the director, understanding the rubrics, because they're not ready. They went to my director and then Bob has wanting to facilitate things for me, not understanding exactly the guy what. Go ahead, definitely same constitution without understanding guy won't go to the no way. The whole constitution of Mexico because guy I'm on excitement. They don't develop their own constitution. You don't develop a beautiful constitution, wonderful constitution. It's accepted, but it's not a union. It was an association that they have done because it was only with contemporary artists. And traditionally, in constitutional review, so they made the old constitution being built up just a dead new constitution when you're fresh. Just like the constitutional review being empty right now, it's not the old constitution. You don't do that. They try to reform constitution, but don't be like a new concept out of that constitution. No longer they have constitutional review. You do constitutional review on that. Why don't they jail? The old constitution will never bastardize totally. Maybe on town. Traditional musicians are not part of this anymore. The boy ñom Moussa Mboub ñep bokatu ñom Galiba ñep bokatu ci music union in the Gambia because they are not contemporary musicians. So ñom Moussa Mboub ñep duñ musicians again. ñom Galiba Kouyaté ñep duñ musicians again because they are not contemporary musicians. ñom ñep duñ musicians again. ñom Sambou Sousso Female Artists Association bi ñooñu ñëpp duñ musiciens again génne nañ leen ñoom ñëpp ñu génnee car nga génne live band nga génne traditional musicians nga génne lifin si Female Artists Association bi te lii soo ko boolee loolu moo indi a union léegi yow boo faram fàccee ñoo ñëpp nga génne leen si nga taxaw you only have an association. So association of contemporary artists association bobu congress bobu fulna guys sponsor nanko I commended ñom fi fogna na ñu ji moko sponsor o homo nu guys sponsor affaire dal whatever why jot nañu def sen congress why mistake bi guys def rek moy ne dañ jël di name bi rek ñu Gambian Music Union manen det Gambian Music Union has to have the Gambian Association of Contemporary Artists, the Gambia Association of Traditional Musicians, the Gambia Association of Live Bands, the Gambia Association of Female Artists. Ñenenti association ci ni nak ñoo de ñoo together ñu def a congress for the Gambia Music Union. Lolu dafa amagum ka. From your information li nga jotta diga. Lolu dafa amagum bang Well, that question is for you, respondent.
No. What I am made to understand is that during the amendment.
My question is, did you have a congress that brought together the Female Artists Association, the Contemporary Artists Association, the Traditional Musicians, and the Live Band Association? Did you have a congress of that nature happening in the Gambia?
Yeah, it was before. That is how we do it in the constitution. That is the reason why in the constitution, when I was there, all the letters were sent to you, and normally all these people were there. In 2016, that is the reason why Jaliba. Can we get each other? I don't want us to be sorry. Huh?
Well, did we have that happen? Can you just answer that part? Did you have that?
So you said, did we have? I'm not in the Gambia. I'm not privy to that. But what they told me is that they have highlighted in the review process that the different sectors that you are talking about, the executive committee and the regional councils, the regional committee members are going to nominate those people.
Nominate?
They are going to, yeah, they are going to nominate them. Yes.
Nominate?
Yes.
And they are elected.
So they changed. Simply what they did was they changed that part of the chapter of the constitution. Instead of bringing first vice president of the Female Artists Association, president of the Life Band or something like that. So they just changed it, and they said they're going to nominate.
It cannot be a nominated position because
constitutions are also allowed to be reviewed. If they review it and they said, okay, they're going to nominate, I don't think that should be a problem.
Did they get those associations being part of it?
I'm not privy. I'm not privy to that. I'm not privy to the attendance. Okay, so now, Mr. Director, what is the way forward? How can you help? What do you want now? What did they set that one now, so that they can be able to know where they fall short and what they should do?
Yes, I think your friend or your colleague has just did a brilliant move about last week, which is Antumare. I commend him very well. Though he's an empty ball, he makes the most sound, but he did an effort last week. Definitely, I don't pull head together with him. He always fight.
Okay.
But for the first time, I commend that he tried to broker, an understanding between us. Because he is a middleman. So he came to my office and then said that we need to see how to make a compromise. I made a compromise with them, and the compromise is, let's talk. Let's allow a dialogue now. Because I did not want to have any dialogue. I just wanted to leave them because they are supposed to be independent. It's not my role, or it's not my duty, it's not my job to do all these things, Kalilu. If everything goes well, it's not my job. I am not paid for that. It's not part of my terms of reference. But I have in my terms of reference as to monitor the artistic associations. So in monitoring them, if I see things that go foul and there is no understanding and meaning, because no single individual will go and confront the system or the association and tell them what you are doing is wrong. But using my office and then the authority that I have under me, I try to make things work because it's for the interest of all the artists, not for few. The few artists that may be angry with me or seeing that I am interfering, it's no problem. I understand that. I understand their feeling and I respect them. But I am telling them that I am doing it for the interest of the larger community. And that is, we have compromised. We are meeting on Wednesday. In my office, they are coming down, their executive will be coming down, and I'll be putting to them straight that they are running a contemporary artists association. And I will commend them for that because already the traditional musicians have started their plans. They are going on Congress. They are drafting their constitution at the moment, and we are assisting them. And once they are ready, they will also go to Congress. If they go to Congress, I have also spoke to Kalilu, this guy, Sumare, and Sabu, for them to assist, or together with the Female Artists Association, and then they write a proposal to me and see, we will assist them also for them to go to Congress. And we will, of course, end up with the Live Band Association. We'll put the Live Band groups, and they will also go to Congress. And if all these 4 congresses takes place now, then we will have the Musicians Association Congress will take place finally, which all these 4 associations will come together, and then they will create the Gambia Music Union.
Yeah, but Sekomar, the country live band musicians are so small. The amount of bands in the Gambia is so minimal that you don't need a congress for the live band. Like we did before, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. What we need to do is just to maintain in the constitution that you need representatives from these people and they should be elected. I think that should be the way forward. There shouldn't be no kind, because you guys don't have money. You don't have money to even give to the association. The only money that you are just going to do a lot of spending. That's what you said. So if you are going to support all the congresses of the live band, the Female Artists Association, and I don't know which one else, it's going to be too much. Just ensure that you maintain the constitution.
Sir, I think that was the biggest problem we had been having, and that was because there was the intention when we were writing this musicians union. You know, then I was not at the NCAC. Am I right?
Yeah.
You know, I was at Alliance Franco-Gambian with you guys when we were drafting that music union, and I never knew that I will one day end up being at the National Center for Arts and Culture and working for this directorate. You remember that very well.
Yeah.
And the intention was we were setting those settings for us to be able to branch off. Because like right now, the theater union, they have all their other artistic associations, they are working. The film actors association is well functioning. The drama association is doing wonderful. The dance association is doing dance championship. They are doing their dance championship something. So this is what unions do. Union is just an umbrella body that organizes the union, the association. And this is what the Gambian music had been lacking for all these years. That's why we had been having all these problems. We want to reinvent the wheel. And by creating that is actually to give the structural necessities that are necessary on the ground to make sure they are all functioning. Then we will not have these problems like we are doing. Like what is happening? The Gambian Music Union is just like, let's say the GFA. It should have been just like the GFA. All the
exactly. No, Gambia Chamber of Commerce.
Like the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. So if that is to be institutionalized like that, today all these things would not have been working. So the issue is, I commend the contemporary artists for taking the lead and setting up their association, and I would want to indulge for them to assist also the other artistic sectors, other musician sectors, to also come up with their association so that they can all come together and form a union. Unless if the associations that come together to form a union, there is no union.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Director, for that clarity. I think you have made a point, and your point is clear. And I know the musicians might be watching and they are listening. So it's important that they recognize that you are still willing to work with them to find an amicable way to settle this dispute that is going on. I have learned that there was a copyright engagement and you did not even invite them. Mr. Director, why you talking about copyright and musicians are not part of that meeting? Oh, But anyway, we will not finish with you. We will even have Musa alone. We will have Musa alone again, because you took all his time. I think Musa is enjoying you because he's hearing a lot of things that are coming from home. Huh?
Yes, definitely. I enjoy listening to say Omar and him highlighting all these things. I mean, it's very interesting. But I mean, I think lots of musicians at home need a very clear briefing or lecturing what a union is. And I think some of them, if they want to divide themselves into different categories and then want to say every individual will form a union, it doesn't work like that, definitely. So they need a clear briefing what a music union is first.
Exactly. That is what I was telling Sekomar. Even the British Music Union, you can see that they have different sectors, but it doesn't necessarily mean they are branching. They are not branching. They just created different sectors: the sectors for live band, the sectors for contemporary, the sectors for traditional. That's how it is set up. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to branch to have different conferences. Anyway, Sekomar, we will talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl, just let me just make a point of clarification there. Here. These are, an interest group. The Gambian Music Union is an interest group.
That is right.
An interest group, Carl, every stakeholder lobby for your interests because there has to be something for your interests. The contemporary musicians, they will never lobby for the live band associations or for the live band stakeholders or for the traditional folklore stakeholders any beautiful thing. They will want it for themselves. Because even myself, I would have wanted it for myself. The reason why we say no, music union has to have stakeholders, all these people, so that if anything comes on traditional music, there is a person that we can look there as the contact person. The person who is there sitting
exactly
for the interest of traditional musicians, and somebody sitting there for the interest of contemporary musicians, somebody sitting there for the interest of live band musicians, somebody sitting there for the interest of female artist musicians. This is what forms the and election and selection are different.
Exactly. No, that part I agree totally with you, because even the International Music Federation, can I tell you something? The International Music Federation, they invited the Gambia 2 years ago to a meeting, like a conference in Tanzania, and in attendance was Sambu Suso and Sirfo Kanute. Because Sirpo is the Secretary General, Assistant Secretary of the Musicians Union, and Sambu is the first Vice President of the Female Artists Association. So in that meeting, the International Music Federation categorically stated that they need what you call gender equality. So because the workshop was gender equality in the music industry. And the presentation supposed to be done by Sambu Suso, and that was the reason why Sambu Suso was part of that conference. Just to tell you that, okay, we know exactly what is going on, but again, sometimes we have to dialogue, we have to discuss as a family when we have dispute and find an amicable way to be able to settle the disputes. So this is the reason why we are putting it forward to you, so that you as the director can be able to lead the way. And people like Musa and people like Uncle Badu Job. Uncle Badu Job is still writing that Gambians don't have a clue about trade unions. And we will agree with him, because that is the reason why the Musicians Union or any other unions in the Gambia are not being, vibrant. So, Uncle, we cannot say no to that. And this is the reason why we are continuing with these conversations, to be able to get support from people like him, to share knowledge, and so that, the Gambians can pick it up from there.
I agree with that. And I think I comment, if Buddy says that I did not see the comment yet, But if he says that, I think I would like to comment that very well. Because the point that we have been suffering from is loss of resource persons. Carl, I would say more or less, you have enjoyed some little bits of training about unionism, about copyright through NCAC, if I am right. You've enjoyed some part of it. And today, we have lost a resource person like you after. It's not only you, but I'm saying your example, who have all gone with those knowledge and those information. So now it's
I
a
have
new
not
batch.
gone. I have not gone with the knowledge. The knowledge is still here, Uncle.
You are using it again. You are using it again, of course. But I'm saying like the others who are actually gone and lost. But like these new ones, most of them they came from nowhere, and then they just found themselves into a wobble that they just raised their hands and said, "No, appoint them, appoint them." Then they appointed them. So they came in fresh. They had no clue of the system. In fact, some of them are very angry. They came very, very democratic, or they are actually activists. They are so-called activists. So they are really hardliners. They believe in riots, in strike demonstrations. Those are the kinds of people that we started having seen. So, when you are dealing with such people, there is a lot of time it will take before you educate them or before you calm them down. Because they are from the street. Once
No,
they come
Uncle. Now, I just want to give Musa the opportunity because I know where you're going now. I cannot control. Uncle Badu is saying that I provided a blueprint for a Bible music union, and I can attest to that. When I was there, Uncle is every day giving me scholarly reviews on the music sector. I cannot finish reading all of them, and I love enjoying and reading them. So thank you so much, Uncle Badu Basket, for your kindness. But Uncle Musa, I just want to I just want you to tell us a little relationship between you and the Ifam Bondi, the older musicians, until you were able to cement yourself in the music sector, and we can close it there because we will need you again to show more of the things that you are doing. And next time we will not blend you with the director because you know very well Zek Omar can talk the whole day, 5 hours without any problem, without even drinking water. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Kalilu. I think that is a very interesting point there. Because my collaboration with Ifambondi, that's what put me to where I am today. During our time with them, what first came to my mind is Famboli was like an institution where we are lucky to be part of, because you don't know those people, their status, until you work with them. And I was very lucky, and I see that it reflected in my music career now, as I am working with people like Badu in Fambondi and working with people like Abdel Kabir. And I was one of the youngest Gambian percussionists who got that opportunity to work with them, for them to accept me in their team as well. Working with Fambondi, touring around Europe, seeing a lot of different artists, musicians around the world, really extend or expand my understanding of being a musician as well. And I make people, sometimes when people ask me whether I study music or where I learn music, I say, well, I graduated from the University of Ifambodi. And
exactly.
And it's not a joke. That's a reality. I mean, when I work with Abdel Kabir, with Soto Kotoban as well in Holland, I was collaborating or working together in the studio with a lot of other musicians, one like William Ora, who played in Michael Jackson trailer. And I was there and witnessing all the sessions that Abdel was leading and how they compose. And also when I work with Badu in Ifambondi, the first thing I learned how to discipline yourself. You
Exactly.
cannot do music. You cannot do. I learned that from Ifambondi because the music they were playing, what they were training us, disciplines you. You cannot come from anywhere and join the music and do what you want. The music tells you what to do.
Exactly.
And that's why sometimes I maybe think that Gambia don't understand what they have in terms of music composers and writers. You know, I witnessed a show here in London, the
Mm-hmm.
O2,
Okay.
which they brought Yusundur, and I was among the audience because it was organized by Yaram Arts, who brought Yusundur, and that they invited Mr. Badujo to award him.
Mm. Exactly.
And I was standing among the audience, and
Mm-hmm.
Yusundur himself said something that really impressed me, and that really made me that day very proud as a Gambian, and also make me to um, think or to believe in myself that
Mm-hmm.
Gambia can be recognized and also recognize the people who were doing the music, make Gambia recognized and put the Gambian flag among the music industry around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yusundur said when Bad was standing on the stage,
Mm-hmm.
he was awarded, and Yusundur make it clear to all the audience. And these are the people who make us what we are today.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time. There was a time in Senegal we don't have anything like a PA system. If we want to exercise, or if we want to, expose ourselves and sing through a microphone or through a PA system, what we normally do, we have to go to the Gambia. And these are the people who were welcoming us. These are the people we were looking at. These are the people who were nurturing us. And Yusufu said that.
Wow. Wow.
And I also have a friend who was the director
Mm.
of African and Caribbean World Music Circuit in England,
Mm-hmm.
who was born from Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
He told, he told me the first time he watched Super Eagles was in Fambundi in
Mm-hmm.
Ghana. He was 12 years by then. So
Mm-hmm.
Gambian music, we the people who live in the Gambia can't even value, don't understand the value of Gambian music. Even our lyrics, our composition. Some people, sometimes I had people saying, well, Malach is from Senegal. What do we have as, how do we call Gambian music? It makes me laugh. Because even Malach originated from Afroman.
Yeah, because we had that conversation last week. I don't know if you are hearing me.
Yes, I hear
Jalim,
you.
Jalimadi was saying that the reason why he puts Mbalak into his music of Afro Manding is because reliably he was told that Mbalak originated from the Gambia. So the times that the Yusundurus were coming into the Gambia, that was the time they steal the skill, because the first drumming was like done in Banjul.
Well, you shouldn't say so. I mean, but for me, the believing I have is even when you talk about Mbala cannot be completed because I know my dad was a master drummer. I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mbala cannot be completed if you want to separate Afro Manding from it, because the combination of the drums,
The drum
the sound
patterns.
that comes, yes, the different patterns, the different sound that comes from the individual drums, when you
Mm-hmm.
combine them together, it's the time you're talking about building a rhythm.
So there is a Mandinka. So that means there is a Mandinka drum part of that pattern.
Well, exactly. Because I mean, it's like language. It's
Mm-hmm.
like when you come to Gambia. When you come to Gambia, you'll find Fullers, Salahules, Jola, Wolof. You go to Senegal, you find the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
the same tribes. This is what I'm trying to make it to say that you cannot separate Mbala from Afro-Manding. All originated from Afro-Manding. Afro-Manding is the foundation of any type of music you're doing. Let me tell you, even in jazz, if you come to jazz, blues, you can hear those patterns that you can collaborate with, and it's from the Manding. So
So
I
now,
mean,
now, now,
Gambian
now, can I
music,
ask you this question? Can I give you this question? Uh,
yeah,
your percussion setup.
yeah,
I know in Wolof there are names, but is
yeah.
is there a specific manding, for instance, you call it like a Seuruba or whatsoever? Do you have a kind of a drum pattern that is part of that composition that you are making when you are playing live in your
Well,
setup,
exactly.
you as an
Yes,
individual?
yes. Those are individual notes. You see, the name of a drum and a pattern from a drum is totally different. You can have,
They are
I can
different.
have,
Okay.
yeah, I can have my wall of drum. For example, the leading drum from my
Mm-hmm.
wall of set of drums called Nder, which is the longest
There,
one.
genau.
I can I can use that drum to represent, to play manding rhythm, or to take the rule of a manding drum called the belling. Belling is the
Beleng,
leading
genau.
drum. Is small. Yes, yes.
The long
And
one,
when you
yeah,
come,
the long one, that is the leading player using sometimes with a whistle.
yes, yes, I can use my wall of drum called there to play the same pattern the mandinka guy will play on his semba. I can use my kungu to represent Kutirindi. I can tune my bombong to represent Kutiriba or Dumajiro.
Hmm.
So these names of drums and the actual rhythm itself is different. This is why I said in our music, the way what I learned when I was working with Fambundi, that's where the foundation is. And those people, what they put in me is to understand how to penetrate the music, how to play yourself in arrangement, how to have discipline in terms of doing your songs. So these are all necessary things one need to understand. And this is where I think also many Gambians are misleading themselves when they come to my profile. Most
Okay.
of them they are still
Mr. Mbup,
as percussionists, yes.
yeah, Mr. Mbup, you are saying something very interesting, and the director is here. So I'm going to put this to two of you.
Yes.
And then I want you people to pay me after when you buy the idea. that is the rhythms of Afro Manding, or the rhythms or the sounds of Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa, to put them, to digitalize them, whereby you will be able to organize all these patterns and the rhythms coming from the different ethnic groups, which we call our ethno-cultural music of the Gambia, and you archive them digitally, like rhythm samples that you can be able to pay, you can be able to sell around the world, like the Europeans are doing.
Yes,
so they can be like digital samples.
I think Sehu Omar is listening. He can try to organize that market at some point. But going back to me working with Ifamboli, that they make me who I am today. They make me understand how to compose. They make me understand what arrangements are, and they make me to understand how to discipline myself around the music. And they make me also to understand that, I mean, always you should have that knowledge of collaborating with other musicians, be open-minded, so that you can learn as many as possible. And I thank people like Badu. I remember I used to have personal conversation with him all the time, and he always advised me to stick to what I'm doing and focus. So thanks a lot. Thanks for that question.
Thank you, Uncle Badu. He is saying that there are thousands of rhythm patterns, and each ethnic group have their own rhythms, and that's what I'm talking about. Even the rap music of the 21st century. Now, most of the samples that they are taking digitally, I think it will be important that some of these rhythms coming from our ethno-cultural music, we could be able to incorporate them in our music. And this is the reason why a rapper like ST is making waves in the Gambia. Sekomar, Mr. Director.
How long do you have? Don't mind me.
Mr. Director, deganga percussionist with lumneka de wali. It's like a school. And I think you need people like him in your curriculum development.
Yes, anyway, I'll be privy to send him the draft one we already have. Musa, put email. I'm not sure if it is still the same.
Mbalahal at gmail.com.
Huh?
Musa Mbalahal at gmail.com.
Yeah, Mbalahal.
Mbalahal.
Mbalahal at gmail.com. Yeah.
Well, I'm not okay. I'm on Nako. If it is still mbalahal at gmail.com, I will send you the curriculum. And maybe it's some brother, some uncle vitamin Carl. Badu.
Uncle Dina, he's watching. Traditional rhythms have been recorded since time immemorial by ethnomusicologists. Uncle is right. Uncle, that is very true. I just got Uncle Legi Muma Lalna. Do they book scholarly reviews, because he is part and parcel of that. So he is always thinking people are stealing from him. Uncle, we are not stealing from you. We will protect you.
Mother, he's too conservative. So since you the curriculum, he just bastardizing everything. But kids are so good with the idea, Bisa. You for no polling.
Yeah, I think we need people like Uncle. But anyway, Mr. Director, I think we are coming to the hour mark. Almost like 3 hours. But it's important. We will cut the videos so that the young Gambians can be able to learn from this great interview. But Uncle Musa, dinala specifically, and I will try to fuse you with an artist so that you will not be overshadowed by the administrative and the political point of view that is coming from the Gambia creative sector. And then, Mr. Director, now I am going to have you alone. in my interview, so that you can, you can be able to have your space and do what you love doing.
I didn't even talk about copyright aspect of it.
Exactly, exactly. So the next time when we come, you will talk to us about the draft IP Act, and then how far. So, but if you can just subtly talk about that, just subtly in 2 minutes, Mr. Juice, Mr. Jallo.
I cannot talk about 2 minutes. All that I can say to you now is I have called upon the CSG, that's the Collecting Society of the Gambia. They are on the verge of going to their Congress.
Without the music union. Without the music union.
Yes.
That can never happen, because in your law it is stated there are 2 representatives of the Musicians Union of the Gambia. So are you going to also amend that part of the law? Are you going to amend that part of the law?
If they can amend their part of the law that says the traditional musicians need to be there, be represented. The live band musicians need to be represented. We can also amend the law of the copyright.
No, but you cannot you cannot amend in a period of 6 months. So that means we still saying, we can say in 1 year time, because if you want to do that, you have to take it to Parliament, and for them they can just put it in closed door. Anyway, we will talk about the copyright, the IP, the new IP Act next time that you come. On
my final note, Carl, I have started in in March, on the 3rd of March, what we call heritage management assessment. We are sending forms which I am distributing to create a database of experts or heritage managers in the Gambia. People who are actually existing, and then they have very good knowledge of any of these heritages, whether tangible or intangible cultural heritage, including music, film, theater, or anything. If anybody, or you know of anybody who is like the likes of Musa Angom, Musa Ambu. Musa, apart from that thing, I will also send, apart from the curriculum, I will send you also the survey form for heritage managers, because we are collecting and creating this database of Gambian heritage managers throughout the world. Wherever we know a Gambian heritage entrepreneur or a Gambian heritage manager, we would like to have you in this database that we are creating for the country. EU is supporting us, and UNESCO. It's a project that we started since on about 5 days ago, last week, Monday.
Yeah, I was informed. Yeah.
You are informed.
Yeah, but I never got a document from you.
No, I'll be sending
you always forget about me, because you see, second one, I will tell you this. Anyone who lives Gambia, no matter how immensely you have contributed to the sector, and that is not only the center of arts, but you always forget about people, us, people living in Europe, like people like Mozambique and people like the Surasusos. They are also Gambians. They have Gambian passport. So they have escalated from one level, conquering Gambia and renowned, being a household name, and then their trade was able to market them outside the Gambia, and now they are residing somewhere else. So they should be celebrated. They should be recognized all the time. Well, we cannot give ambassador credit to only local musicians because they're filling up stadiums of 30,000 attendants, and forget about someone who has already, for so many years, selling the cultures of the Gambia, participating in forums, participating in seminars, participating in venues which are more resounding and renowned than even in the Gambia. Mr. Director, you have to review that part of your selection, please.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, because if Musa is playing in a venue in UK and said, I come from the smiling coast of West Africa, is 2 million people, and then, our tradition is so and so and so. Now, one of his songs that he recorded, My Village, My People, he is promoting the Gambia. My village, my people. Yes. Literally, I don't know what is inside the composition, but that is typically about the Gambia.
And Kalilu, if you go to New Yundum Primary School in Yundum, near Busuba, I remember we built around 4 different classrooms, and in that I traveled to Switzerland to do a concert. Maybe it was about 10 different concepts, and that phone was used to build those classrooms. And I did many of that around the Gambia.
Okay, Mr. Director is coming, Mr. Mbuk, Uncle.
Yes. I think that's brilliant. Of course, we did not mature to that level yet, because as I told you, this is a sampling we are doing, and it's just a new stride we are trying to do. But I would like to bench my argument also on the words of Badu Basket. I have seen what Badu Basket has just said, about the diplomatic passports. It's true that the European authorities are not accepting Gambian passports. So it would be risky for me to give Badu Basket or Musa Mburu a diplomatic passport, because they will be having more problem than he is saying that they are having now. So if I give him the passport, then he will have more problems, so he doesn't need it. So somebody like
Uncle will argue again. Anyway, he said he tried to register with NCSC, but he did not get any feedback. I don't think that time you were there.
No, I wasn't.
But then, I think this dialogue is very important to be able to try to collaborate with people who are outside also, and put them in your database. I think the form that you are sending, so we can whitelist spread this form to the people that we know. Maybe we don't know all of them, but Musa also can help to share it among other people that he know. And so that you guys could be able to collect as much people as you will be able to get. But Mr. Director, so lolu moy sa wax bi, so lan moy sa final word bi then?
Well, no, man duma final. I will terminate, stop for now, because it's not my final words. Because I can never have my final words as long as this job is on. They will retire or they will quit this job. That will be my final words. My final, my stopping point for today would be, I would like to urge people like Badu Basket. I have seen him writing that his registration. We're going to try again, another attempt. You know the process. It's just a question of Ninyage send from England, from Norway, from everywhere in the world. They even send artist card. Yes, the advantage with registration with the NCAC, you stay within the database. We have your information at your profile. Degulo manane, Musambu, I'm not database, I'm not information or profile. That 2015.
Yeah.
Like the last card with Ame, it was 2015. I went back to his profile. I went back to his database. I reviewed everything. They will be now read CVMB. No, it's not for me. Maybe for public consumption. Because anything you can know about Musa, I will tell you that I know everything up to 2015 officially. And after 2016, Jimungom, Momade feed information which is unofficial. So this is the essence of registration. Legi am ko xamne apply somewhere. We have reference about his country as you know, they write to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Directly to investigate about that person or about that person, not like him, because they try to read behind you. They try to check with their oil credit check. They check behind you to know who you are. Potential if you are not in the database,
now I will just give you an example. Although Uncle Badu Basket is in Holland, there is this funding opportunity called Movies That Matters, and there is an association Sofa Nyamakunda. So they have what you call, they initiated the Sofa Cinema. So then they have community outreach with cinema to talk about issues of human rights violations. Maybe you know about them.
No,
so yeah, when they indicated that they were working with Mandemori Foundation for Performing Arts, you know, I was consulted by the funding director, because they have a team, like they have a kind of a council that was trying to see how genuine and viable that, you know, activity was. So I had to recommend for them. So that was when they got that funding, even though it was not for Mamfopa, but Mamfopa was like recommending them to be able to get that funding. That was when they got that funding to implement that project in the Gambia. So you are very right. And this is what we are also talking about, collaborating with governments also, because sometimes when an individual artist have to apply for a UNESCO fund, you need also a recommendation. There is a section of the application that your council had to be able to recommend you. So if you don't have a working relationship with your arts council, then how can you be able to get that recommendation to get those funds? So that is the reason why we have to collaborate. So thank you so much, Mr. Director. You still want to say something?
No, I respect. Yes, I would like to reaffirm the American registration fee. Let them continue registration so that they can stay in our database. If they are not in the database, anything that we are doing in the country, even excellence in the arts award, we will start at the hell. If they are not in the database, we cannot recognize them because we don't know about them. To us, they are not existing. So you can only
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Artist card yo Kalilu sa bopa.
Man suma boss mu nge man suma boss man I am waiting for the dust to settle. Uncle Musa, your final words to our viewers, and we will try to get you again. Sawai mu malal mu ne man suma bopa register mo.
Wow. Man dari sana tu nek se Omar dina ma bug di email. Fi mu nekk nii dinaa la bugg di téléphone.
ok.
waaw jërëjëf waay waxtaan bi neex na jërëjëf waay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Musa. And we will be happy to have you again next time. Maybe dinala fuse ak bena artist or your kenna right. Director bi mom from today duma ko bolé ak ken mom kenna moy ñew mu wax, you know, 3 hours. So thank you Mr. Mboup and also Sek Omar Jallo. You know, I am exceedingly glad to have both of you here tonight on the Gambia Talents TV, on the greatest Gambia showbiz in focus, you know, to be able to discuss about the cultural sector of the Gambia. Until you come our way next time, I am your host, Kalilu Banja, and good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.